Stand by all stations.
Attention, all districts. A 5-alarm fire, 5 bells. Move in immediately.
That's it. Let's roll.
Let's go. Firefighters. Presenting Firefighters, the true-to-life story of our unsung heroes who stand ready to ride by day or night against our most murderous enemy, the demon of fire. In just a minute, we'll bring you the story of a rookie fireman's first fire and a thrill-packed ride on the giant aerial truck on Firefighters. But first, here's a message we hope you find exciting, too. Tim Collins, an ex-GI and the son of Ben Collins, firefighter hero, who years ago lost his life in the line of duty, had just completed the training course for rookies and has been assigned to the relief squad to await his first call. It's midwinter, and a snowstorm has been raging all day as Tim returns home. Hi, Mom. Is dinner ready? I'm starved.
Mercy, son. You want to freeze us? Brush the snow off and shut the door quick.
Okay, Mom. There.
Well, that's better. Goodness, it must be down to 0.
Oh, pretty near, Mother. It was 2 above an hour ago, and they say it's going to 5 below by morning.
Why?
Hey, but say, let's not talk about the weather. What I'm interested in is food, and lots of it.
You're always interested in food and lots of it. You'll just have to wait a few minutes. Trudy and Jim aren't back from skating yet. We'll eat just as soon as they get in. Oh, hello, children.
Hi, Mom. When do we eat? I'm starved.
There's another one, Mom. Hi, Jimmy. Hello,
Hi,
Trudy.
Tim? Mother, can we eat early tonight? Mark and Betty want me to go to the show with them.
Yes, dear. Everything's ready to put on just as soon as you wash.
Oh, boy, I'll hurry. Come on, Trudy.
Coming.
Oh, Tim, dear, I almost forgot. There was a phone call for you a while ago.
Oh, I wonder who it was.
I don't know. But they said it was very urgent that you call Cody at this number.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I wrote it down for you.
Say, that's Chief Cody down at fire headquarters. I better call him right away.
I wonder what in the world he could want at this time of night.
I don't know, but I'll soon find out.
Hello, Chief Cody speaking.
Hello, Chief. This is Tim Collins of the relief squad. Did you call me, sir?
Oh, Collins, yes. It's this blizzard. I'm calling all department personnel out for 24-hour duty until the emergency is over. We can't take a chance on a bad fire in this kind of weather.
Oh, yes, sir. I'll be right down. Where do I report?
I'm assigning you to Aerial Truck Company number 1.
Yes, sir. I'll be there right away. Goodbye.
Well, what was it, son?
Oh, I got a report for duty at Truck Company number 1.
Oh, my goodness. Hope you don't have to make a run on a night like this.
Oh, got to, Mother. This is when I'm needed the most.
But, son, it's so dangerous. I just can't help but think how I used to worry about your dad when the weather was bad.
I know, Mother, but I'll be all right. Golly, it was a lot colder than this back there in Belgium during the Battle of the Bulge.
I know, son, but I just can't help worrying.
And it was a lot more dangerous, too, but I got along all right. Oh, so you just quit worrying. And who knows? This may be the chance I've been waiting for to show Chief Cody what I can do in action.
All right, son. Now I guess you'd better hurry and report for duty. I'll send Trudy over to the firehouse with a good warm dinner for you.
Oh, Mom, you're wonderful.
Don't forget to dress warm.
Chief Cody, Tim Collins reporting for duty.
Oh, yes, Colin. Sorry to have to start you out on a night like this. And I'm afraid if we have any trouble during this storm, we'll need every man on the force.
Yes, sir, I understand. I'm just glad of the chance.
That's the kind of talk I like to hear, Collins. You know, you remind me of your dad when he was a young fellow starting out with the department. A great fireman and a fine man, Ben was.
Thank you, sir. I only hope I can be as good a fireman.
You will, or I'm no judge of men. But now, you know your station?
Yes, sir.
I've put you with an experienced crew. You shouldn't have any trouble. Oh, here it comes. Looks like you're going to a fire, and soon.
Yes, sir. Well, that's what I'm here for. Stand by. 8th Street. 8th Street, corner of Maple.
All right, men. Let's roll.
okay, Tim?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Hey, you better hook your arm over the bar. You can hold on better in case we skid, and your fingers won't get so cold.
Oh, thanks.
Your first fire?
Yeah. You suppose it's a big one?
Well, you never can tell till you see him, Tim. We'll find out pretty quick.
Uh-huh.
Around this next corner. Then it's straight down Maple.
Oh.
Hey, watch out!
Gosh. He cut that one close, didn't he?
Yeah, a little. But you can count on Mac. He and Lambert, the tillerman, have been working together herding this apparatus through all kinds of weather for better than 10 years.
Oh.
Only thing I worry about is other drivers. They're what cause all the trouble.
Yeah. Hey, look.
Huh?
That car coming.
Oh, look at the fool right in the middle of the street. Hold on, kid. We're gonna hit.
Nurse, I'm Chief Cody. I want to inquire about one of my boys they brought into the hospital here about an hour ago.
Oh, yes, Chief. You mean Collins in 508.
Yes, is he badly injured?
No. Luckily, he's going to be all right. A slight concussion and a broken arm, but otherwise, he's in good shape. Would you like to see him?
Yes, please.
Very well. You just come with me, please.
When we picked him up, he was unconscious. I didn't know how badly he might be injured, but I couldn't wait. We had to go on to the alarm.
Here we are. This is his room, Chief Cody.
Thank you.
Mr. Collins, you have a visitor.
Hiya, Tim.
Oh, gosh, it's you, Chief. I didn't expect you to be coming down here.
Well, I got to check up on things, you know. Tell me, how are you, my boy?
Oh, gee, Chief, I'm all right, only... Well, this left wing of mine's kind of out of service for a while, I guess.
Well, I'm mighty thankful it wasn't any worse.
Say, how are the other fellas? Well, did they get hurt?
They're okay, Tim. See, the apparatus didn't turn over after the crash, just skidded into the curb.
Oh.
They hung on and came through with nothing more than a good shaking up.
Well, how about the driver in the car that hit us?
Well, he's all right, too. Only, well, I can't feel very concerned about careless drivers who fail to give the right of way to fire apparatus.
Yes, sir.
Thoughtless drivers are a greater hazard to us than the worst fires.
Yes, sir. Was it a bad alarm, Chief?
The very worst kind, son. A false alarm.
A false alarm?
Yes. It's criminal to call fire apparatus out in a blizzard like this, make men risk their lives, waste taxpayers' money, and endanger valuable equipment, just to provide a little excitement for someone who likes to see the fire engine make a run.
Oh, gosh, I can't imagine anybody doing a thing like that.
Probably some kid. I picked up this red and green knit glove right under the box.
Uh-huh.
Believe me, I'd like to get my hands on the kid who did it. I'd teach him a lesson and then turn him over to the police. You know, it's a civil offense to ring a false alarm.
Yes, sir, I know, but... Well, how do you know some kid didn't... Well, just happened to drop the glove there, while he was playing?
I'm afraid not, Tim. We've already had the arson squad working on the case, and they've pretty definitely tied the glove up to the false alarm.
Well, then all you have to do now is find the owner of the glove.
That's right. It won't be easy, but in a case as serious as this, we won't stop until we've got the guilty party.
I'm sorry, Chief Cody, but I'm afraid Mr. Collins has visited long enough for now.
Oh, of course, I'm leaving right now. Goodbye, Tim. Good luck.
Oh, good night, Chief, and thanks for coming in.
Oh, yes, I was about to forget something. Now, hurry up and get that arm in shape, because there's a regular job waiting for you with Aerial Truck Company number 1 when you get well.
Hey, did somebody say something about a picture show? Can I go, too?
Me, too. I want to go.
It looks like you got a party on your hands, Tim.
Okay, we'll all go. Get your things on.
I won't be a minute.
Yeah, we can make the first show if we hurry.
Better put your gloves on, Jimmy. It's pretty cold.
He can't, Mommy. He lost them.
He lost them? You mean he lost those nice gloves Aunt Ellen sent him for Christmas?
Uh-huh.
I didn't either. I only lost one of them. See? Here's the other one right here in my pocket. So there.
Oh, dear Jimmy, I declare you're always losing things.
Hey, let me see that glove, Jimmy.
What for? Come on, let's go or miss the first show.
Jim, let me see that glove.
What's the matter, son?
It's that glove of Jimmy's. Yeah, it's for the right hand. And the other one fitted the left hand.
The other one? Well, what other one are you talking about, son?
The glove Chief Cody found. Under the fire alarm box the night I was hurt. Whoever turned in that false alarm was wearing a red and green knit glove. Exactly like the one Jimmy lost.
Well, it looks like Tim's own brother Jimmy may be responsible for the false alarm that almost cost him his life. We'll hear more about this when you listen next time to Firefighters. In just a minute, Chief Cody will tell you, boys and girls, how you can help the firefighters in your own town. But first, here's a message of interest to all of you. And now, here is Fire Chief Bob Cody.
Hello, boys and girls. You know, veteran firemen will tell you that the best way to fight fires is to put them out before they start. And that's how you boys and girls can help us firefighters. Fire prevention starts in the home. And I'd like to give you a tip right now that'll prevent a lot of mighty bad fires. Well, here it is. Go down in the basement and up in the attic or third floor and see if there are any old newspapers or rags piled up in your home. Or if you find any, make it your number one job to get them cleaned out. Waste paper is one of the most common fire hazards found in the average home. Well, that's all for now. I'll see you again tomorrow. And don't forget, I'm counting on you to help prevent fires. So long.
Fire Chief Cody and the young rookie fireman Tim Collins will be back at the same station the next time you hear...
That's it. Let's roll. Let's go, firefighters.
Firefighters is written by Frank Jones and is a copyrighted feature of William F. Holland Productions.
Five bells. Stand by all stations.
Attention, all districts. A 5-alarm fire. 5 bells. Move in immediately.
That's it. Let's roll.
Let's go, firefighters! Presenting Firefighters, the true-to-life story of America's unsung heroes who stand ready to ride by day or night against our most murderous enemy, the demon of fire. In just a minute, we'll take you to the home of young Tim Collins, rookie fireman, at a moment when it looks as if he's about to lay hands on the culprit who rang in the false alarm that nearly cost Tim his life when, you remember, Tim was thrown from the ladder truck and sent to the hospital with a broken arm. Evidence has just turned up right in the Collins home. But first, here's something you'd like to know. Let's go, firefighters! Tim Collins, rookie fireman, has recovered from his broken arm and will soon be ready for service. Meanwhile, like every other man in the city fire department, he's looking for the owner of a certain red and green knit glove, the glove that was found under the firebox from which the mysterious culprit rang in the nearly fatal false alarm. To celebrate his recovery, Tim has invited his family, including brother Jimmy and sister Trudy, to go to the movies. As they prepare to leave the house, Mrs. Collins, Tim's mother, says to 14-year-old...
Better put your gloves on, Jimmy. It's pretty cold.
We can't, Mummy. He lost them.
I didn't either. Only lost one of them. See, here's the other one right here in my pocket.
Jim, let me see that glove.
What's the matter, son?
Well, this glove of Jimmy's. Yes, it's for the right hand. And the night of the blizzard, somebody dropped a glove, a red and green knitted glove for the left hand under the box where he rang in that false alarm.
Jimmy, what does this mean?
Oh, Mom, I lost my glove. That's all it means.
You lost your glove where?
I know, Tim. I know, Mummy. Why, he lost it.
Don't you dare say a word. Keep still. They think I'd pull a false alarm. I don't care what they
Oh,
think.
now, Jimmy, wait a minute. This is serious business. We don't want to think anything like that, but there's the evidence. If you can clear yourself, look, just tell us where you lost that other glove.
Oh, if I knew where it got lost, it wouldn't be lost, would it?
Let me, Tim. Now, Jimmy, look at me.
Yes, Mom.
Jimmy, you're a truthful, helpful, honest boy.
Oh.
Yes, you are. And I'm going to ask you just one question, Jimmy. Do you know anything at all about that false alarm the night of the blizzard?
No, Mom. Honest, I don't.
Well, then. Tim?
All right. I believe you, Jimmy. And, well, I won't even mention to Chief Cody that you have or had a glove like the one the arson squad is trying to trace. At least I won't mention it yet.
Glory be, that's over. Now, Tim Collins, you invited us all to the movies. Are you going to take us or are you not?
All right, you folks go on into the lobby, Mom. I'll get our tickets.
Come along, you two. We'll wait inside where it's warm.
4 seats, please, downstairs. Thank you, miss.
Evening, Collins.
Who's that? Oh, hello, Chief Cody.
You didn't recognize me, huh?
Oh, no, sir, not in civilian clothes. Well, say, if you're going inside, why don't you sit with us, Chief?
I'd like to, son, but I'm on duty. Just doing a little plain clothes work.
Oh, on that false alarm case?
That's it. We tipped off the men on duty in theaters and other public places to keep an eye out for the mate to that red and green glove.
You know, it doesn't seem likely the culprit would keep it when the pair's been broken.
No, it's a thin chance, Collins.
Yes, sir, unless... Chief Cody, if there's going to be a wave of false alarms...
Right. One glove's enough to prevent fingerprints when the rascal pulls another box.
Now, we'll wait right here till Tim gets the tickets. Oh, good evening, Mrs. Cassidy. There's Mrs. Cassidy. She has a recipe I want. Look, Jimmy, Trudy, you stand here and watch for Tim.
Right.
Oh, Mrs. Cassidy, before you go in, I'd like to...
Jimmy.
Huh?
Jimmy, why don't you let me tell them where you lost your glove? So they can be sure you weren't mixed up in that false alarm.
Don't you dare. If anybody tells, it's got to be me. Besides, I don't know where I lost it. All I know is how. Besides, plenty of kids wear gloves just like mine. I bet they lose them all the time.
Huh? Where'd you ever see anybody wearing gloves like that?
I forget, but I did so see somebody. I bet I'll remember who in a minute.
Hey, look at Jimmy Collins. Look at Jimmy out with his kid sister. Yay, Jimmy's gonna take his kid sister to the movies.
You watch yourself, Droopy, and never mind that fresh talk about my sister.
Silly old thing. Always pushing in where you're not welcome.
Oh, hey, you don't have to get sore. Can't you take a joke?
All right, but watch yourself.
Hey, look, some movie tonight, huh?
Yep, there's a big fire in the main feature. That's why we came. It's all about firemen.
Me too. I've seen it twice before. Oh, boy, when the fire trucks come screeching up the street, clang, 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 and the people all screaming and yelling. That's what I like. When they're yelling for help and they got the levers and lights get out of it.
Oh, hush, you're making so much noise. Everybody's looking at us.
Yeah, well, there'll be more noise than that when the special attraction begins. You'll be screaming and yelling same as the rest. Special attraction. That's good.
Oh, that droopy Dolan gives me the creeps.
Hey, kids, where's Mom? Oh, there she is with Mrs. Cassidy. Hello, Mrs. Cassidy. Come on, kids. Let's pick up Mom and go get our seats. I was delayed talking to Chief Cody out at the ticket office.
Well, Motors, here's a special idea for you. Long-distance touring...
Jimmy, stop wiggling around.
Yes, Mom.
Travelers in strange cities...
Trudy,
Not make the mistake...
I just thought of something. I remember who had gloves just like mine. But if I tell Tim, maybe he'll think I'm making it up.
Oh,
Shh, don't say anything, but maybe Chief Cody should know.
but Tim saw him at the ticket window just now.
Hey, what's the matter with you two? Can't you keep still and watch the picture?
I'm thirsty.
Well, go get a drink then. And you better hurry or you'll miss the part in the picture where the fire starts.
All right, then. Let me, excuse me, Mom.
Now, here's a very special safety idea for you. Here's something that I know about.
Chief Cody, could I see you a minute?
Well, Jimmy Collins.
Chief Cody, I knew somebody who had a pair of gloves like the ones you're looking for.
What's that? Who is it, son?
It's a fella that goes to Northside School with Trudy and me. Golly gosh, Chief Cody, I don't want to be a squealer.
I understand, Jimmy, but this isn't squealing. This is detective work.
Well, if somebody goes around pulling false alarms, he's got to be stopped. And if I know something about the case, I guess, maybe it's a kind of duty to tell.
It is your duty, son. It's your duty to help protect your neighbors and your own family, too. You understand what I mean?
Yes, sir, I do. Well, tonight, when Mom left Trudy and me waiting right over there, I was just trying to remember where I saw a pair of gloves like that, and... Golly, what's that?
Oh, just the movie, son. That's the big fire scene in the picture. All right, go ahead now.
Oh, I'm gonna miss it. Oh, well, never mind. Well, the fella I was trying to remember walked right up to Trudy and me, and he said...
Fire! Fire! Run for your lives!
That didn't sound like a movie, Chief Cody.
Hold it a minute, Jimmy.
Fire! The theater's burning! Run! Everybody run!
You're right, Jimmy. That's some maniac spreading a panic.
Everybody run!
Jimmy, there's the manager's office there behind that door. Now get inside that office and wait until I come for you. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Some fool back there is hysterical.
These people, Tim, if they lose their heads and start rushing for the exit.
Yeah, someone's going to get hurt. Mom, you and Trudy stay here. Don't leave your seats until the aisles are clear.
All right.
Run, everybody, run!
Here comes trouble, Mom. Let me out the aisle.
Run for your lives!
I got you.
Hey, let go! Run! Everybody, run!
Stop that yelling. You're starting a panic. Lights! Turn on the house lights!
Let go! You let me go!
I'll let you go when I find it. Hey, come back here.
Try and catch me! Let me get...
I got you.
Now, ease
This
up
time
there.
you want...
Ease up. This is Chief Cody.
Oh, sorry, sir. I was trying to... Well, this is Tim Collins, Chief.
Oh, good. Just the man I want. We've got to calm these people down.
Where'd the fire start, Chief?
There's no fire at all.
What?
Just some lunatic driving the audience wild with fright.
Oh, Chief, I had my hands on him. He broke away.
Never mind that. We'll get him in time. Now, Collins, you get up on that stage. Tell these people there's no danger before they kill themselves jamming the exit.
Yes, sir. I'm on my way. All right, let me through. All right, fire department, mister. Let me by.
All right, now, take your seats. There's no danger. There's no fire. Now, take your seats, please. Oh, great Scott, another false alarm. That fiend has fouled up half the fire department with another false alarm.
Now, there's a case of one person playing a cruel practical joke, threatening the lives of hundreds of innocent people in a theater audience. But Tim Collins and Chief Cody are on the spot. Jimmy Collins, Tim's younger brother, has remembered where he saw a pair of red and green knit gloves like the one the arson squad is trying to trace, and the case is rushing toward its climax. For what happens next, listen to our next true-to-life episode of The Firefighters. In just a moment, Chief Bob Cody will tell you, boys and girls, how you can help the firefighters in your own town. But first, here's a message you don't want to miss. And now, Chief Bob Cody, with a special assignment for all junior firefighters. Chief Cody.
Hello, boys and girls. This is Chief Cody calling you to attention for your special assignment. Attention, firefighters. You are to take special precautions next time you go to the movies or any place where crowds assemble. Make special note of the emergency exits. Make a plan in your own mind of how you would walk to safety and lead others in case of fire. And boys and girls, promise me this. If you are ever in such a place when fire breaks out, keep your heads. Keep cool and walk. Do not run. I repeat, do not run. Walk to the nearest exit. Well, that's all. Goodbye for now, and you'll be hearing from me soon.
Fire Chief Cody and the young rookie fireman Tim Collins will be back at the same time on the same station when you hear...
That's it. Let's roll.
Let's go, firefighters! Firefighters is written by Frank Jones and is a copyrighted feature of William F. Holland Productions.
Who's that little chatterbox, the one with pretty auburn locks? Whom do you see? It's little orphan Annie. She and Sandy make a pair, they never seem to have a care. Cute little she, this little orphan Annie. Bright eyes, cheeks of rosy glow, there's a store of healthiness handy. Mite size, always on the go, if you want to know. Princess Sandy always wears a sunny smile. Now wouldn't it be worth the while if you could be like little orphan Annie?
Well, here it is, 5:45 now, and time to see what's happening to Orphan Annie after that thrilling final test flight in Professor Kenyon's secret new airplane. But first, let's look in on a real-life airport. the great airport of Los Angeles, California. On the runway stands one of the giant new 14-berth Douglas sleeper planes, flagship of the American Airlines fleet, ready to take off. Listen.
The Southern American Airlines sleeper flagship, loading at gate number 4 for Phoenix, Fort Worth, Memphis, Washington, and New York.
And there it goes. Speeding down the runway, the silver plane glides into the air. With keen-eyed Doc Ater, crack pilot of American Airlines, at the controls, starting the flight to New York. And what a flight! Speeding through the sky at a cruising speed of 200 miles per hour. This great Douglas sleeper plane wings its way from Los Angeles to New York, that's about 3,000 miles, in less than 16 hours' time. You can depend on pilot Doc Ater to keep the great ship true on its course. Believe me, an air pilot's job is a real man's job, demanding cool nerves, a steady hand, a quick, clear-thinking brain, and strength, vitality, and endurance to keep alert every minute of the time in the air. And say, here's something you ought to know. To help give him the pep and endurance he needs, Doc Ater drinks Ovaltine. Yes, sir. This famous air pilot and many other pilots flying the American Airlines planes drink Ovaltine because they know every cupful of Ovaltine gives them important minerals and vitamins and things to help build up their strength and endurance, help to keep them on their toes, mentally alert, and physically fit to protect the safety of passengers on American Airlines, the most popular airline in the world. And so, if American Airlines pilots drink Ovaltine to build their pep and vitality, that's something you certainly want to try, too. Ask your mother to get you some Ovaltine at her drug or grocery store now, so you can start off with a big, delicious cupful for supper this very night. And be sure to drink it with all your meals and in between meals every day from now on. But now, for Annie's adventure. Last time, remember, Annie and our friends came down from their test flight to find the professor's safe blown open and the secret plans of his airplane missing. And then they heard a noise in the barn, the sound of someone kicking or pounding on wood. And here they are now, just as we left them, Annie, Joe, Professor Kenyon, and Bob Bond, standing before the safe, listening to the noise. Do you hear it?
Leaping lizards, there is someone still in this barn.
Yes, there is, Annie.
Gosh, the noise seems to be coming from that closed door over there.
That's exactly where it is coming from, Joe. Stand back, everyone.
Bob, what are you going to do with that gun?
Easy, Professor. These spies aren't too careful with guns. I don't intend to be. Fight fire with fire.
But, Bob, I don't want anyone to be hurt.
And no one will be, if they do as I say. Stand back now. I'm going to open this door.
Come on.
Listen, someone called from behind that door.
Back, everyone. I'm going to open it. Now come out, whoever you are, and come with your hands in the air.
Land sakes alive. Do I have to come with my hands in the air?
Mrs. Silo.
And Mr. Silo.
Yeah, it's us, Joe. Go on, me.
And my sakes and stars, you don't know how glad I am to see you. You can put that gun down, young man. My goodness, I've seen enough guns for one evening. Annie, come here to my arms.
Leaping lizards, Mrs. Silo. I never dreamed it was you and Mr. Silo in that box stall. For a minute, I was forgetting you came over here with us.
It's us all right, Annie, and land sakes, is Mom mad about being locked in that stall?
Mad? Of course I'm mad. My sakes. In all the years I've lived on a farm, I've never been locked in a box stall before. But I will admit that the man that did it was polite.
Man who did it? Who you...
Sakes alive. You don't think Pa and me went into that stall by ourselves, do you? Of course somebody did it.
Who, madam? Who?
Heavens to Betsy, don't call me madam. That's what the other man did.
Who? This is important, Mrs. Silo.
Important? It certainly is, Mr. Bond. Land sakes, it's so important. I can hardly wait to get Elmer Slemp, the marshal, on the telephone and tell him about these goings-on. As long as I've lived in Tucker County, I've never been put in a box stall before.
Please, Mrs. Silo, it is important.
Just what I said, Annie. I don't intend to be threatened and ordered about by foreigners.
Please, Mrs. Silo, can I tell her, Professor?
Go ahead, Annie.
Those men who were here tonight, Mrs. Silo, were foreign spies.
Spies? Heavens to Betsy.
They were after the plans of Professor Kenyon's new airplane.
Well, why didn't somebody tell me about it? Why didn't they
explain... We've got to know what happened here, Mrs. Silo, and know it quick.
That's right, Annie. That's right.
Suppose you let me talk.
Go ahead, Pa. Who's stopping you? Land o' me. I don't know what this is all about.
Go ahead, Mr. Silo.
It was this way. Ma and me were standing in front of the barn.
Admiring
here.
the stars, Pa.
Yes, admiring the stars. Then, first thing we knew, there were people all around.
With guns, Pa.
Yeah, with guns. We didn't have a chance to do a thing.
What about the watchdog?
I heard them talking about him, Joe. They chloroformed him.
Jumping grasshoppers. So that's what Nicholson was getting that chloroform in town that day for. I thought it was something like this.
Nicholson, that's the name, Annie. I know, because he came to the house looking for room and board.
Ma.
Go on, Mr. Silo. What happened?
What happened was that this man Nicholson and his two helpers, Ferrara and a girl named Dawn...
Dawn Martin. I knew she wasn't a painter.
They forced us inside the barn here and locked us in that box stall.
The idea. And when I tell the marshal,
I'm afraid a town marshal won't be of any use in this, Mrs. Silo.
Then, with us locked up, they blew open the safe.
It was Nicholson, then.
Of course it was. Nobody else. We could hear every move they made behind that door. Had some new kind of explosive they did. And I guess the door of that safe came open just like it was made of cheese.
And my plans, they're gone.
Easy, Professor. Nicholson took them, Mr. Silo?
You bet he took them. All me could hear everything, though he couldn't see it. Heard him say he got all the blueprints. Then the whole kit and caboodle of them skedaddled out of this barn as quick as they could go. And I heard him say something about getting away to the East Coast in an airplane.
An airplane?
Leaping lizards, I've got it.
Got what, Annie?
Don't you see? Gee, we were dumb not to get this before.
Get what, Annie?
Ferrara and his fake accident and landing that plane of his close to Nicholson's house.
Well, I don't see how that...
Why, there was nothing wrong with Ferrara's plane. You looked it over yourself, Mr. Bond, and you said there was no reason why it should have landed.
Right, Annie, but
Well, there was a reason why it landed. A good reason. And the reason was that Nicholson wanted a good way of escape after he'd stolen your airplane plans, Professor.
But, Annie, I don't see
It's
that...
all clear as day. Suppose Nicholson had gotten your plans. He couldn't have escaped by automobile or railroad. He'd have been caught too quickly. But in an airplane, don't you see, Ferrara faked that accident in a good plane so that Nicholson would have a sure means of getting away after he got the plans.
Annie, I believe you've hit it.
I know I have. Suffering sunfish, it's the only answer to all this, and it explains everything. With that plane not damaged a bit and ready and waiting, Nicholson can fly clear out of the country or to a waiting ship and get clean away with the plans. Beautiful butterflies, we've got to do something. Here he is with the plans now.
Annie, you've hit it. You've got it.
I'm sure I have, Professor.
Bond, what are we going to do about this? We can't let Nicholson get away with those plans. I designed them for our own country, not for some foreign nation. We must stop him.
I don't see what we can do, Professor. After all, the plans are gone.
Listen. To what, Joe?
Don't you hear it? It's the motor of an airplane.
It is. I'd recognize an airplane motor from a grave.
There's just one answer to it. It's Ferrara's plane. They've got Professor Kenyon's plans on board, and they're flying them away.
I think you're right, Annie. Listen, that plane is going east.
It is going east. I can tell that much.
That's what I heard Nicholson say. From that box stall, I heard him say he was going to take the plans to the East Coast where a boat was waiting.
A boat?
Trawler was the word he used. I guess that's a boat, ain't it?
My sakes, Pa, a trawler is someone who's fishing. Heavens to Betsy, you've gone crawling enough on Rock River.
Trolling, Ma, not trawling. Man sakes, I guess you better stick to your cooking.
There is a chance, Professor, if we could head off this plane of Nicholson's. After all, this new plane of yours is as fast as any ever built. If we could reach the coast before he does, there is a chance.
Bob, you're giving me new life. Of course there is. And I was forgetting radio.
Radio?
My plane is equipped with the latest in radio. Why, perhaps we can head this Nicholson off. Annie, Joe, would you go with us?
Go where, Professor Kenyon?
To the East Coast in pursuit of Nicholson.
Shucks, I'll say we will.
Just a minute, Joe. Land's sakes, what would your mother think? I can't permit you to go dashing off.
Mrs. Silo, this is important. It's just about the biggest thing that's ever happened to us.
All right, Annie. Being locked in a box stall is the biggest thing that ever happened to me. But
Mrs. Silo, listen to me. I need Annie. You heard how she analyzed the reason why Ferrara landed his plane here. I need her mind, her keenness, her brain. This is serious, Mrs. Silo. It may mean the difference between peace or war for our country. It may be
Land's sakes, Mr. Kenyon, what are you talking about? What are you
No, the professor's talking good common sense. You listen to him. You know who's behind all this. You know who's...
I do, Pa. But mercy me, the idea of Annie flying off in that airplane is...
It's for the good of the country, Ma. And if the professor says he wants and needs Annie, I guess it's up to us to see that he gets her.
Good for you, Mr. Silo. We can go, Professor. Joe and I can go.
Fine, fine. How is the plane, Bob?
Ready to take off at a moment's notice, Professor.
Good. Plenty of gas?
Her tanks are practically full. Ready for a long flight.
That's all I ask, then. My full confidence is in this plane. Bob, my boy, we're going to win yet. We have every chance. With you at the controls, I'm certain we can head off for our plane. And by using our radio, we can have all the authorities at Washington aiding us. Come, come.
Land's sakes, Annie. I hate to see you get into that plane again.
It's just for a little while, Mr. Silo. Suffering sunfish, if we can save the professor's
I
plans,
know,
why...
Annie, I know, or I think I know. It's something to do with our country. And goodness knows I'd do anything for my country. But seeing you go off like this, well, it makes me want to cry.
Oh, this is a time to be brave, not for tears.
Land's sakes, I'm not going to cry, Byron. Of course not. Here, Annie, give me a great big hug and a kiss.
Come on, Annie, hurry up. Come on, Joe. And don't you worry. Joe and I'll be back before you've even known we're going. Here's a hand, Annie.
Start your motor, Bob.
Right.
We're off.
Give it the gun, Bob.
She's got it.
Goodbye. Goodbye, Mrs. Silo.
Goodbye, Annie. Goodbye, Joe. And may God go with you and protect you.
There they go. Annie, Joe, Bob Bond, and the professor off in the new silent airplane in pursuit of Nicholson. Will they be successful? Will they manage to get the plans of the secret plane back before Nicholson delivers them to the agents of his emperor? And remember that tip I gave you before the adventure tonight. Doc Ater, famous air pilot of the American Airlines, and many other pilots for this great airline, drink Ovaltine. They drink it to help build up their strength, pep, and endurance, keep them mentally alert and physically fit as they fly American Airlines' big 14-berth planes from coast to coast. Yes, sir, these pilots say Ovaltine's a big help to them, and say it's certainly what you want to drink to help keep you up on your toes, too. And so, if you haven't any Ovaltine at your house, ask your mother to be sure and get you a can at her drug or grocery store right away. Then you can treat yourself to a big, delicious cupful of Ovaltine for supper, just as many of these crack pilots are doing tonight. And now, you certainly want to be here right on the dot next Monday at Orphan Annie time to see if our friends will be able to catch Nicholson on that thrilling pursuit through the air. We'll hear more about that next Monday at this same time. And until then, goodbye.
The little chatterbox, the one with pretty auburn locks. Whom do you see? It's little Orphan Annie. She and Sandy make a pair, they never seem to have a care. Cute little she, this little Orphan Annie. Bright eyes, cheeks a rosy glow, there's a store of healthiness handy. Mite's size, always on the go. If you want to know, Princess Sandy always wears a sunny smile. Now wouldn't it be worth the while if you could be like little Orphan Annie?
It's 5:45 now, Ovaltine and Orphan Annie time again. But first, let's imagine we're taking a trip more than 5,000 feet up in the air. And here we are, right in the cockpit of one of those silver giants of the skyways, a speeding American Airlines plane rapidly nearing Chicago. At his radio, the pilot is asking for landing instructions. Listen.
American Airlines plane number 79, New York to Chicago, calling WGEH Chicago. Am 15 miles east at 3,000 feet, descending.
And here's the Municipal Airport Chicago answering.
WGEH, Municipal Airport, Chicago, answering American Airlines plane number 79. Amalgamated Airlines number 6 from Cleveland is now landing at southeast runway. Field is otherwise clear. Surface wind is southwest 15 miles an hour. may come in.
And the American Airlines flagship comes in on time to the minute. That's how radio clears the airways, helps bring the great American Airlines fleet through on schedule. And the man behind this vital radio service is Harold Gray, supervisor of American Airlines nationwide radio equipment, the radios in all planes and 42 ground radio stations. So you can see Harold Gray holds down a real He-Man's job, a job that demands cool nerves and a clear, quick-thinking brain while working day and night to protect the safety of passengers. And say, listen to this. To help give him the pep and endurance he needs, Harold Gray drinks Ovaltine. Yes, sir, he's been drinking Ovaltine regularly for over 7 years because Harold Gray knows, just as many famous pilots flying American Airlines planes know, that every cupful of Ovaltine brings important minerals and vitamins and things to help build up strength and endurance and help keep a fellow right up on his toes all the time. And so, if American Airlines key men and crack pilots drink Ovaltine to help build up their pep and vitality, that's certainly something you want to try too. Start in with a big, delicious cupful tonight and have 2 or 3 cupfuls every day from now on. But now, getting back to Annie. Here she is with Joe Bob Bond and Professor Kenyon high up in the sky, flying eastward in the new silent plane. For remember, Nicholson and his spies have stolen the plans of the plane and are carrying them away in Ferrara's ship. But here's our friends now, speeding through the night, trying to head Nicholson off and save the plans for their own country.
Can't we get more speed, Bob, my boy?
I'm pushing it now, Professor, almost to the limit. 230 miles an hour.
Gosh! Leaping lizards at that rate and hadn't ought to take us long to get where we're going.
That's just what I've been thinking, Annie. Not of getting where we're going, but of where we're going. Where are we going, Bob?
East, Professor. East.
Yes, I know. Mr. Silo heard Nicholson in a barn say he was going to head for the East Coast.
And we heard Ferrara's plane sail over, headed east, and...
Yes, but where in the East, Bob?
Well, as I figured it, Professor, Nicholson probably had a boat waiting for him somewhere off the coast. He's headed for that boat. There he intends to abandon the plane, sail into the ocean, and escape to his own country.
Shucks, and what's to stop him from doing it? We'll never be able to find his boat because we haven't any idea where it is.
And Joe's right, Bob. Why, there are 2,000 miles of Atlantic coast. We'd have a better chance of finding a needle in a haystack than of discovering Nicholson's boat on the ocean in the dark.
Right, but we don't intend to do it.
We don't? Suffering sunfish, you don't mean we're going to let him get away?
Of course not.
But he is getting away right now. Gosh, we haven't the slightest idea where he is.
We haven't, Joe, but other people soon will. You didn't think we were going to try to catch Nicholson without help, did you?
Help? What kind of help?
And where are we going to get it? Why, up here in the sky, we can't even get in touch with any help unless we land.
Oh, can't we? That's where you're mistaken, Joe. I merely wanted to get started and the plane set on its course before I sent out the alarm. But I'm ready now.
Bob! Wait, Christopher! I was forgetting. What excitement will do to a man.
Forgetting what, Professor?
Radio, Joe. Radio.
Suffering sunfish radio?
Of course, radio. This plane is equipped with one of the finest shortwave sets ever made. One the professor's made several improvements on.
Gosh, then we can get help.
You bet we can. And we're going to right now. Turn on that switch, will you, Professor?
Right, my boy.
Here. I'll dial the wave I want.
Gosh, what station are you trying to get, Mr. Bond?
Just one, Joe. One of the most powerful in the world.
Which?
The big government naval station at Arlington, Virginia.
Gee.
Hello, Arlington. Hello, Arlington. Calling Arlington. Calling Arlington.
Any answer?
None yet. I'll try again. Hello, Arlington. Arlington. Calling Arlington.
Well?
No answer.
Gosh, suppose something's gone wrong with the radio. Suppose you can't get him.
Leaping lizards, Nicholson will get clean away.
Hello? Hello?
Wait a minute. Something's coming.
Hello? Arlington speaking. Arlington speaking. Go ahead.
We've got him. Hello, Arlington. Stand by. Stand by, Arlington.
Arlington standing by. Who are you? Who are you?
Arlington, listen carefully. Listen carefully. I am calling from Professor Kenyon's plane. Professor Adolph Washington Kenyon's plane. Flying over Ohio. Flying over Ohio. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I hear you. I hear you. Who are you? Who are you?
Arlington. Arlington. Captain Robert Bond, USA speaking. Captain Robert Bond, USA. State Department 2X94. State Department 2X94. Got it? Got it?
Gosh, what can that mean? 2X94. Shh, Joe, listen.
Got it. Got it. 2X94. Ready for message. Ready for message. Standing by.
Arlington, listen carefully. Listen carefully. Plans of Kenyon Plain are stolen. Plans of Kenyon Plain are stolen. Look for red monoplane flying east. Red monoplane flying east. 3 people aboard. 2 men, 1 woman. 2 men, 1 woman. These people are spies. These people are spies. Standing by.
Got it. Got it. Any more? Any more? Standing by. Standing by.
Hello, Arlington. Man in plane named Nicholson. Nicholson. Known to department. Known to department. Think red plane headed for Jersey Coast. Jersey Coast. Give message to Smythe. Give message to Smythe. Inform naval authorities. Inform naval authorities. Watch Atlantic from Cape Cod to Hatteras. Cape Cod to Hatteras. Nicholson must be captured. Must be captured. Keep wavelength clear. Wavelength clear. We'll keep you informed. Keep you informed. That's all. That's all. There. I guess that'll hold him for a while.
Jumping grasshoppers, Mr. Bond. Were you really talking with Arlington, Virginia?
With nobody else, Annie.
Across all those miles of nothing but space.
Radio's a wonderful thing, Joe. Here is Nicholson getting away in a plane. And here we are in a plane chasing him. But radio is faster than either of us. Things will be moving in Washington tonight.
Good boy, Bob, good boy. But we must recover those plans.
I wouldn't worry too much about them, Professor.
But, Bob, even with the help that I presume is starting to move right at this moment, we cannot be sure of apprehending Nicholson. He might slip through the net.
Even so, Professor, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Don't you realize, Bob, that if the plans of my plane actually get into the hands of the foreign government, it may mean war almost at once? Why, any warlike nation that had the secret of this plane could hold their enemies at their mercy.
No foreign nation will ever get them, Professor.
But right now, right at this moment...
I can only give you my word. Those plans of yours will be utterly safe and will be delivered as you wish to Washington.
I'm afraid you're just saying this to make me feel better, my boy. But I thank you. It's a terrible thought that an invention of mine might cause war, when my whole interest in inventing it were for peace.
Gosh, look at the speed dial now. It says 245.
Yes, I've given her a bit more speed, Joe. A marvelous plane. Even at this rate, she's as silent as ever.
Mr. Bond?
Yes, Annie?
What did you mean by telling Arlington on the radio that you were Captain Bond?
Because I am, Annie. I think I let drop once or twice that I was a West Point man.
You sure did.
Of course, I'm out of active Army service now, with this lame leg of mine, which was injured in France.
Shucks, we wonder why you didn't wear a uniform.
And what did you mean by that 2X94 business? 2X94. You said it to the man at Arlington.
Can't tell you that, Annie. I'm sorry you had to hear, but it couldn't be helped.
Well, I don't see why you can't tell us, Mr. Bond. This is a mighty serious business. Now that the plans are gone and we know Don Martin was mixed up in it, maybe Professor Kenyon ought to know that you were mixed up with Don Martin.
Hey, what's that, Annie?
It's true, Professor.
Annie, the less said, the better.
I don't think so. I think it's time a lot was said.
Wait a minute, Annie. Listen.
To what, Joe?
Don't you hear it? It sounds like an airplane motor.
And leaping lizards, that's just what it is. See it ahead there in the moonlight?
It is a plane.
Right. And it's the plane we're after. It's Ferrara's plane.
Are you sure?
Positive. I'd know that monoplane anywhere.
Shucks, they must see us. Look, they're dodging down toward that bank of clouds or whatever it is.
Clouds? Fog. We're running into a fog bank. Quick, Professor, turn on that radio again.
Right, my boy.
Hello, Arlington. Calling Arlington. Calling Arlington.
Arlington speaking. Arlington speaking. Is that you, Bond? Is that you, Bond?
Bond speaking. Bond. Bond. Just sighted Nicholson's plane. Just sighted Nicholson's plane.
Where are you? Where are you?
Over Ohio, near Pennsylvania border. Nicholson flying east, lost in fog bank, lost Nicholson in fog bank. How are things with you? How are things with you?
Message delivered, 2X94. Message delivered. U.S. Navy on job. 3 destroyers leaving Brooklyn Navy Yard. 2 cruisers leaving Norfolk. Squadron Navy planes leaving Roosevelt Field. Stand by. More coming. All coming.
Leaping lizards. It sounds as if the whole Atlantic fleet was getting busy.
Boy, have we started something.
Say, what a chase this is. Ships putting out from the Brooklyn Navy Yard and from Norfolk. Squadrons of planes leaving Roosevelt Field. Meanwhile, Annie and her friends are lost in the fog, somewhere over Pennsylvania, with Nicholson near them in that other plane. And don't forget what I told you before the adventure tonight. Harold Gray is supervisor of radio equipment for American Airlines, and also many crack pilots for this famous airline drink Ovaltine. Drink it to help build up their pep, vitality, and endurance, to help keep them mentally alert and physically fit to bring the giant American Airlines passenger planes through on schedule. And so, if top aviation men and star pilots say Ovaltine's a big help to them, it's certainly what you want to drink, too. Have a great big delicious cupful of Ovaltine with your supper, just as many aviation people will do tonight. And say, everybody wants to be extra sure to listen to Orphan Annie's adventures every single day from now on, because Annie's working on a brand new surprise for all her radio friends. Something that not a single one of Annie's friends will want to miss. Something that's going to mean a lot to you. So be sure to keep listening, because this big surprise will be coming along mighty soon now. And you certainly want to be here right on time tomorrow to see if Annie and our friends can get back on the trail of Nicholson and his spies. We'll hear more about that tomorrow at this same time. And until then, goodbye.
All aboard for the transcribed premiere production, The Cruise of the Paul Parrot. This is a thrilling, exciting story of the sea, the vast, stormy sea, which will be a place of high adventure until the end of time. This adventurous story tells of the hardships and perils of whaling, the mystery of hunting for buried treasure, and the dangers of storms at sea and mutiny. Well, boys and girls, as you can see, The Cruise of the Paul Parrot will be packed with thrills from start to finish. Now, first of all, we want to introduce the principal characters you'll get to know in this new and exciting series. First, there's Captain Roy Dalton himself, master of the ship, and he's talking to his friend and first mate of the Paul Parrot, George Wainwright.
You can see for yourself that there's something afoot on this cruise. George Wainwright, I ask you as my friend, will you sign these first mate's papers?
Aye, it is then, Roy, mate. But if it weren't for you, Roy Dalton, I'd never sign. Now we'll find just what is behind it all.
And here are the two characters that you boys and girls will like best of all, the little boy and girl in our story. And do they have exciting adventures aboard the Paul Parrot? It's Johnny Robbins and little Sue Grange.
Gosh, Sue, what are we going to do? That man is going to try to kill the captain.
Well, Johnny, there's only one thing we can do. We've got to get up to the captain's cabin before he does. Come on, run.
Doesn't that sound like excitement? And here is the mysterious Spaniard who causes all the trouble aboard the Paul Parrot. He's talking to Ezra Grange, the owner of the Paul Parrot, the other man of mystery on the cruise.
Now, Senor Grange, be sensible. I know as much about this treasure as you do. Why not let us be partners instead of enemies?
Listen to me, you blackguard. I won't be a partner with you in any kind of venture. One of us is suddenly going to disappear from this ship, and it isn't going to be me.
Well, that sounds like more excitement. And last of all, here is old Dickon, the one-legged sailor, talking to his pet, the ship's mascot, after whom the ship has been named, Paul Parrot himself.
I tell you, Paul, there's going to be more trouble on this cruise than the time I lost this peg leg of mine. Yes, sir, I just feels it in me bones.
Ah! Sailor, beware! Sailor, take care! There's dirty work afoot! Ah!
There you are. You've met our principal characters. Now let's start on our yarn. Our story opens in the spring of 1858, in the New England town of New Bedford, the great center of the whaling industry. Roy Dalton, a true seaman and as brave a man as ever sailed the deep, has just received his master's papers. He is walking on one of the streets leading to the New Bedford waterfront when he runs into an old acquaintance.
Oh, it's a long cruise and a hard cruise and a cruise before the gate. Hold, I think that's...
Ahoy! Heave to, mate.
Well, blow me down, Roy Dalton. Say, I thought you were at sea. I thought you signed as first mate on the Minabelle out of Boston.
Avast, it's good to see you again, George. You're behind schedule a bit. The Minabelle laid up for repairs a month ago.
Will you be sailing with her again?
I will not, George. I've got my own future to look forward to. I've got my master's papers.
What? A full-fledged skipper? Great saints, Roy, you've done well. And next you'll be telling me you own a trim little clipper that's setting sail tonight.
Oh, that'll all come. That'll all come later. Right now, but look, this'll tell you what ship I'm sailing on. See this one-legged sailor coming down the dock with a parrot on his shoulder?
Yes, but what has that to do with...
Hi there, Dickon.
Aye, aye, Captain Dalton. I'm just taking our bloomin' mascot for an errand, you might say. Greet the gentleman, Paul.
Ah, avast there. Stand by to weigh anchor, you lubbers. A fine breeze has sprung up. Ah.
I'm afraid that ain't a very courteous manner of greeting a superior officer, sir. You know, I never could teach the swab any manners.
Oh, that's all right, Dickon. He's a smart bird at that.
Aye, aye, sir.
But, Roy, that parrot, that's the mascot of the ship Paul Parrot.
Right you are, George. I'm signing on with Grange & Sons to man the Paul Parrot for them.
Grange & Sons? You're a skipper on a whaler?
Avast, man, you sound like that's a crime. What's wrong with being a skipper on a whaler?
But you've been a clean sailor all your life. You've never had anything to do with whaling. You know what a dirty trade it is. Why, most of the men in the crew are drawn from the worst that can be dragged up and cheated or shanghaied into shipping on a whaler. No man in his right mind ever sailed on a whaling ship yet, if he knew plainly what he was in for.
I'll grant you it is hard work to man a whaler. Yet the whales must be caught to keep all New England busy with the selling of their oil. And I, as captain, am to have the choosing of my own crew.
What difference do you find in that?
I'll pick up no dock rats and scum of the waterfront. I'll pick real seamen, everyone a true man.
On the salaries that whalers pay? Don't make me laugh, Roy.
But I'm paying them a fair salary. I'm to give my men $200 in advance, and an equal share in the profits after the owners and the chief officers get theirs.
$200 in advance? How much are you deducting from that for agents' fees and expenses? By the time that's all done, the poor wretches will be owing you $10 apiece.
That $200 is named after those fees have been deducted.
And are your hands getting $200 in advance, in truth?
The truth it is. And there's a nice bunk open for you as first mate.
The day that sees me a mate on a whaling ship will also see me go down to Davy Jones. I wouldn't go whaling for a king's ransom.
George Wainwright, you're making a great mistake. This isn't another dirty whaling cruise. As captain, I'll treat my men fair. And the good salaries will attract true seamen, and not the trash most whalers ship.
This doesn't sound to me like a whaling cruise at all. Yet this Grange outfit is an agency that goes in entirely for whale oil, I know.
They're a mighty fine company, George. One of the younger sons, Ezra, is even shipping with me, so he can learn the game from the inside, as he says.
So, one of the owners is shipping along. Mark my words, Roy. This is no ordinary cruise. And the ship is the Paul Parrot, eh?
The Paul Parrot it is, and a mighty trim and seaworthy three-master she is.
Aye, it's a very trim craft. Has she been all fitted for the voyage?
She sails in 3 days. And, George, the mate's bunk is still empty.
It can stay empty. But I doubt if whaling is all there is to this cruise. I think there's something back of it. Because think, mate...
I beg your pardon, senores. I did not see you when I bumped into you. I beg your pardon.
Who is that man? I've seen him before. And what made him run into me like that?
Why, look, he's got a paper in his hand.
Wait, I think... Heave to there! Stop, or I'll fire!
Oh, pardon, senor, but what is the cause of this, senor?
Give me that paper.
But, senor...
Give me that paper.
Si, senor, if I must...
Hand it over. Aha, just as I thought. My master's papers. He picked my pocket when he rammed into me broadside.
Stop him, Roy, stop him. Fire after him. He's running off.
I have no gun. I said I'd fire just to frighten him.
Now, why did he take those papers of yours? I told you there was something behind this whaling cruise.
Ah, George, you're getting to be an old woman with that I told you so of yours. But listen, you were always a good hand at a dangerous venture. Why not ship as my first mate and see if there's anything behind this cruise?
Roy, I would, if your ship weren't a whaler. But that runs my plans aground right there.
Oh, I say there, Captain Dalton.
Well, blow me down. It's Mr. Ezra Grange. Good morning, sir.
Captain, have you hired all the hands?
Not quite, sir. There's a few to be put on.
Well, you're doing your utmost to get the best now. Remember, spare no expense to get the best seamen and whalers you can.
I think you'll be highly satisfied with the crew, sir. The ones I have signed on are able hands, all.
Good, good. Well, Captain, the ship's just about fitted. We sail in 3 days sharp.
Aye, Mr. Grange. Everything will be ready and shipshape.
Very good, very good. My father will be pleased.
So, that's the owner's son who's shipping on your voyage to see the inside of the game.
Aye, mate, that's the man.
Listen, I know the Granges, and they're all as close-fisted as any New England ship owner could be. This young'un is no exception. They're too anxious to spend money on this trip to make it look like an ordinary one. Mate, there's mystery in the wind.
Oh, you were always one to have a weather eye for mystery when there wasn't any. But remember, that job of mate is still...
What was that?
Avast, someone shot at me. The bullet whizzed right by my ear.
Where did young Ezra Grange go to?
He's disappeared, just like the dark Spaniard who rammed me.
Look, there's somebody lurking behind that whale oil cask over there. Hard to port. I think the lubber's going to shoot again. Did he get you, mate?
Quick, duck behind these bloomin' casings. He just nicked my forearm, George. Nothing serious. Scarcely drew blood.
And neither of us with a gun, blow the luck.
Let's creep around these cases. Maybe we can surprise him from behind.
Aye, aye, matey. You lead.
Softly, softly now. Come on, follow.
I'm right on your heels.
Now behind that stack of sails. Run for it.
I don't think he saw us.
Now to those whale oil casks. Come on, George.
Made it. Now he's right around that one.
Ah, you dirty rat. We've got you now.
We'll let us for that belaying pin. I'll teach him a thing or two.
Stow that shooting, you swell. Oh!
Avast, come here. Why, you stop or I'll throw this belaying pin. Missed him. He got away.
Oh, blast it all. He's a strong monkey. It's the same Spanish-looking fellow that tried to steal my papers a while ago.
Roy, you're not going to stay healthy if this sort of thing keeps up. We've got to get to the bottom of it. What you need is somebody to work with you.
You can see for yourself there's something afoot in this cruise, George Wainwright. I ask you as my friend, will you sign these first mate's papers?
Well, aye it is then, Roy, mate. But if it weren't for you, I'd never sign to be a mate on a smelly whaler.
Yes, I know. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't do this. If it weren't for the mystery on this cruise, you mean. But hurry on and sign up, you blasted landlubber, before somebody shoots off an ear of mine.
Boys and girls, this certainly does look exciting. A whaling cruise is always one of the most adventuresome and exciting things in the world anyway. And with unexpected shots coming any moment or attempted stealings of valuable papers by suspicious-looking men, it ought to be more than exciting. In the next of this thrilling series of adventures in the cruise of the Paul Parrot, we'll find out just who this dark-complexioned stranger is. And we'll also meet one of the characters you'll like best of all, Little Sue Grange, who is really going to get mixed up in this thrilling story. Be sure not to miss even one of these exciting adventures on the cruise of the Paul Parrot. Your Paul Parrot announcer is Dave Ward.
Paul Parrot shoes speak for themselves. Ship ahoy, you lubbers!
All aboard for the transcribed premiere production, The Cruise of the Paul Parrot. Here is the second adventure in this thrilling, exciting story of the sea, which tells of the adventurous days of whaling, when mutiny and storms at sea and buried treasure were very real adventures that might have a place in the life of any seaman. Boys and girls, we know you'll enjoy this thrilling series from start to finish. It is in the spring of 1858 in New Bedford, the center of the whaling industry, that our story opened. Captain Roy Dalton and his good friend, First Mate George Wainwright, are to command the good ship Paul Parrot on a whaling cruise. But there is a good deal of mystery about the whole business. First, one of the owners goes along. Second, a mysterious Spaniard attacked Dalton on the docks in our first adventure. He tried to pick the captain's pocket of his papers. When that failed, he shot at the two men, and after a short but furious fight, managed to escape. As our story opens, it is the next day, and Captain Dalton and First Mate Wainwright are on their way to the shipkeeper's office at the docks of the company which owns their ship, Grange and Company.
We've got to find out who that Spaniard is, Roy.
Aye, George. There's plenty of mystery connected with this cruise already. And we may as well find out how the wind blows as soon as we can.
Well, if any man knows who that Spaniard swab is, it'll be old man Breckenridge, the shipkeeper for Grange and Sons. He's worked on the docks here for almost 40 years. He knows every seaman and landlubber who's ever been in New Bedford.
That swab was after something important, George. You can lay to that. When he failed to pick my pocket, he tried to shoot me. There's some information he wants from me, or from my papers, but I'll be blowed if I know what it is.
Here's the shipkeeper's office right ahead of us. While we're a port here, I'm going to try to see if I can get any information from the old man about what's behind this cruise. The owner doesn't go along on every whaling voyage, and there's seldom a whaler that ships as fine a crew as this one.
Ahoy there, Mr. Breckenridge. Well, avast, you old sea dogs. Come in, Captain Dalton. Glad to see you, Mr. Wainwright.
Oh, is this Captain Dalton?
Well, there's a lady present. Did I hear you mention my name, miss?
Yes. Sue, this is the captain. Captain Dalton, this is Miss Suzanne Grange, the sister of Ezra Grange, the young owner who's going to sail with you on your cruise.
Not Suzanne. I want to be called Sue.
Sue it shall be then, ma'am.
And Sue, this is Captain Dalton, who's to command your brother's ship, the Pal Parrot, and his first mate, Mr. Wainwright.
Hello, Miss Sue.
How do do, miss?
Ship ahoy, there's breakers ahead.
Hard aport. Where'd that come from?
Look, it's our ship's mascot, Paul Parrot himself, over there in the corner.
And there's old Dickon himself. Avast there, Dickon. I didn't see you and your bloomin' bird when we sailed in here.
Aye, sir. I just brought Paul Parrot in to amuse little Miss Grange and tell her some stories about whaling. She seems to be interested in whaling, sir.
Oh, I am. I've always wanted to go along on a whaling cruise someday.
I suppose that's natural, Miss Sue. After all, your father and your brothers have been in the whale oil business so long, you must be anxious to see how it's done.
Old Dickon has been telling her some of his tall yarns about his days of whaling, Captain.
But, Miss Sue, a whaler's no place for a young lady, or for any young person for that matter. It's a long, hard grind carrying a cargo of heavy work and many dangers. And there's little money waiting at port in the end.
Oh, but I just want all that excitement. I wouldn't mind the work or the danger.
Sue is what you might call a tomboy, I'm afraid.
But the dangers are very great ones, if I may put in me arm, Miss Sue. It wasn't whaling, you know. I lost my leg.
Oh, tell me about it, Dickon.
Maybe you'd best not, Dickon. A fight with a whale is a fearful thing to hear tell of.
Oh, but I want to hear about it.
Well, with the captain's permission, I'll say it in just a few words. I was first harpooner on a ship over 30 years ago come next month. We sighted a whale. And at the call from the masthead, there she blows, we lowered 2 boats. Well, the second mate's boat landed a harpoon in the critter, and then he turned right on us. He was a big humpback whale, one of the biggest I ever seen. And to see him raising up right over our heads was like seeing the end of the world. Well, he died right next to our boats, and the sea foamed around like a whirlpool, with our boats bobbing around like little tops. And then he came up on the other side, and he brought his big flukes down right on top of us.
Gee, what happened?
Well, Miss Sue, the boat was just kindling wood after that. Most of the men were hurt or knocked out. But since the whale didn't come up anymore, the second mate's boat managed to pick all of us up. But me leg was lost in that smash. And you know, I got a feeling that someday I'll meet that whale again. I'd know him if I seen him. I know I would. And the next time, it'll be either him or me.
Oh, that was terrible, Dickon. Oh, I feel so sorry for you.
I'll blow me down, Miss Sue. It ain't nothing. I get along with me peg leg as well as many a swab who calls himself able-bodied seaman.
There she blows. There she blows off the starboard bow.
You can tell that Parrot's an old whaler. But, Sue, do you see how much danger would be tied up in a cruise of that sort?
I don't care. I like thrills and adventure. I want to go on a voyage like that someday. I don't see why Brother Ezra can't take me along.
Miss Sue, you've got the Grange whaling spirit. I can see that. But take it from a seaman. A whaler is no place for so charming a young lady as yourself.
Oh, Captain Dalton, there's always some excuse. Ezra says I could never go on a whaler because I'm too young. Mr. Breckenridge says that no woman could go whaling. And now you too. Oh, I wish I were a boy.
Begging your pardon, Captain, but I must be hoisting anchor. Ooh, I got a few ports of call to make today. Old shipmates to say goodbye to and the like. You'll excuse me, sir?
Go ahead, Dickon. Remember, we sail tomorrow morning. Be sure to bring our ship's mascot aboard in good trim.
Aye, sir, I will. You may later that, sir. Good day to you then, gentlemen. And Miss Sue. Good day.
Good day, Dickon. I hope you catch a whale on this cruise.
Good day.
Goodbye, Dickon.
He's an odd character, this Dickon.
But one of the best hands. I'll lay you to that.
Aye, Captain, that's granted. You know, I wish you wouldn't have told so many of those wild stories to Sue here. She gets too excited about something she can never do. You all know as well as I that no Grange ever let any of his women go on a whaling cruise.
Oh, but his stories don't make me any more excited than I was before. I've always wanted to go on a whaler, and someday, no matter what Father or Brother Ezra say, I'm going.
I'm not trying to change the subject, Mr. Breckenridge, but there's something we'd like to ask you, knowing that you know everybody who's ever been around these docks.
What is it, Mr. Wainwright?
Maybe you'd better explain, Captain.
Well, Mr. Breckenridge, yesterday on the docks, a dark Spanish-looking swab rammed into me broadside while we were just gapping away. Then I found he'd stolen my master's papers. We came down on him and got them back, but he scuttled off under full sail. And not many minutes later, he shot at us from behind a stack of oil casks.
He shot at you?
Aye, but his aim was poor, and we crept up on him and finally grappled with him. But the lubber's a strong monkey, and he managed to break away again. And a few minutes later, there was another shot at us. Whoever he is, he's dead set on getting something from us. What? I don't know.
How exciting.
I suppose you want to know if I know him. Is that it?
That's it, Mr. Breckenridge.
We judged that you knew more seamen than any other landsman in New Bedford.
Well, now let me be sure of this. You say he was a Spaniard?
Aye, very dark and short and wiry, strong and speedy.
And his eyes were small and black and sharp as two dirks.
And his hair long in the back, small mustachio?
That's the man. That's the man.
Do you know him?
I do. That's Al Testi, one of the shipping agents for De Silva and Company.
De Silva and Company? Blow me down. That's the whaling outfit right down the docks, isn't it?
That's right.
What could De Silva and Company have to do with this business? They've always been very friendly to Grange and Sons.
From the looks of this man, Al Testi, I'd say this was some plot of his own. I never did like his looks.
Well, now that I know who he is, I'm going to track him down. There's a reason behind all this, and I'm going to find out what it is.
Can you tell us where we can find him in New Bedford, Mr. Breckenridge? Where's his anchorage here?
Yes, I think I can. He's putting up on Gloucester Street, 2 squares up from the docks. Just what house it is, I don't know. But you'll find him out if you go up there and inquire.
There's another thing I don't like the looks of. After that last shot yesterday, we heard old Dixon's wooden leg stomping along the docks in the direction of the shot. I wonder if he could have anything to do with this business.
I hardly think so. Dickon's a funny old swab, but I never had any reason to believe that he's anything but loyal to his masters.
Well, that'll all straighten itself out if we get this Al Testi. We'll find out everything if we get him under our thumb and make him talk.
Why, this is all just like a storybook. Oh, I wish I could go with you. Just think of all the mystery you've had already, and your cruise hasn't even started.
Did you ever hear of such a tomboy? Instead of being frightened by all these things, it only makes Sue want to go along all the more.
Of course it does. All my life I've wanted excitement, and all I've been able to do is go to school and hear yarns of whaling and never do anything about it.
Why, Miss Sue, you talk as if you've lived a long, long time and always been disappointed. You're just a little girl. When you get older, you'll be even prettier than you are now, and you'll find plenty of things in life to make it worth living without having to go sailing on a dirty, smelly old whaler.
Well, no matter what you say, Captain, and whether Brother Ezra likes it or not, I'm going to sail on a whaler sooner or later. Now, you just see if I don't.
This looks bad, gentlemen. You know, when a woman makes up her mind about anything, she usually gets it.
Well, let's get back to what we were talking of. This Al Testi. Do you have any idea, Mr. Breckenridge, of what he might be wanting, that he's given us all this rough sailing?
No, I don't know the man at all, except by sight. No, wait a minute. You know, Al Testi has just been employed by De Silva and Company as a dock agent for a month or so. And the first time I saw him, I couldn't help thinking that I'd seen him somewhere before.
You've seen him before? Where?
That's the trouble. I can't remember. It seems like several years ago. There's something about him I ought to remember, but I'm blowed if I can think of what it is.
You're sure you can't remember?
It was in New Bedford. I know that, but just what he was doing, I can't think. Oh, well, never mind. It'll come to me. I'll let you know when I think of it.
Well, Mr. Wainwright, it's going late. Let's be off on our way up Gloucester Street to look for the lubber. Maybe we'll be able to find out from the Spaniard himself what Mr. Breckenridge is trying to remember.
Well, gentlemen, I wish you luck.
Look in the window.
Where? Blow me down. It's him.
I wish you luck too, senores.
It's Al Testi himself, and he's heard everything we said.
Fast, don't stand there as if you're anchored. After him. This time we'll not let him get away.
Now I know I must go along on that cruise.
And now what? Will Captain Dalton and Mr. Wainwright catch the Spaniard? If they don't, he'll know all their plans, and then what will they do? And how about little Sue? Will she really make good her promise to go along on the whaling cruise? Be sure to listen in to the next in this thrilling series of adventures of the cruise of the Paul Parrot. In the next adventure, you will meet another interesting character, the little boy in our story, Johnny Robbins. And we know you'll like him. Your Paul Parrot announcer is Dave Ward.
Jerry of the Circus. And now for Jerry of the Circus.
Come over. Step right up, folks. There's room for everybody. Right up close to the platform. That's right. Now make room for the children there, mister. Come right in, little girl. That's right. Now today we are offering to you lucky citizens of this fair city a genuine treat, the choicest bit of entertainment that it has ever been your good fortune to witness. And here, folks, on my left, you see the greatest collection of freaks and monstrosities ever gathered under one piece of canvas. And now allow me to present Tiny Irene. Come up here, Irene. There she is, folks. 365 pounds of human flesh. Why, the small admission fee of 25 cents would hardly buy the dessert for one of Irene's meals. And now, ladies and gentlemen, in direct contrast, let me introduce Major Mike, the smallest midget in the world today. A major makes Tom Thumb look like a giant. Hello there, Mr. Randall.
Hello, Haley.
Yes, sir, I repeat, the smallest human in the world today. Am I right, Mr. Randall?
You're right, Mr. Haley.
There you are, folks. The owner of Randall's Greater Circus vouches for my seemingly unbelievable...
Hello, Jim.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Randall.
How's it going?
Oh, it'll be a sellout when we get that spell from Midway.
It'll be a sellout for tonight, too, if this weather holds out. Say, Jim, drop by the office wagon after the show. I want to talk about something. Jason says one of his guns has disappeared.
Oh, the lion tamer. That's bad. It's bad business having a gun around loose in a circus lot.
Yes, and I'm not going to put up with it. The first rule I ever made was that only wild animal trainers could carry guns. I've got to find that missing gun, and whoever's got it will hear plenty from me.
Does Jason suspect anyone?
No, but I do. He and Lorenz have been pretty friendly lately.
Oh, you mean that knife thrower?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't trust him any farther than I could throw an elephant.
That's right. But you'll have to admit Lorenz is a big attraction.
A big attraction to the audience, maybe, but a lot of grief for us.
Yeah. Well, thank heavens I've got a right-hand man I can trust.
Oh, thanks, boss. You can count on me until the last blowdown, and don't you forget it.
Thanks, Jim.
Say, boss, there's a kid looking for you.
Oh, well, what does the boy want?
I don't know, but he's been hanging around since before lunch. He's got some kind of a letter for you.
Where is he?
There he is, boss, over there by Larry. See him?
Oh, yes. All right, thanks.
A mere guess. Come, gentlemen, under which shell is a little black pea? Money never grows in your pocket.
Hello, young man. Looking for me? Sorry, but we're not taking on any new hands.
Gee, so you're Mr. Randall.
Yeah.
I'd have known you anywhere. Dad sure described you. Oh, I forgot. I got a letter for you. Let's see. Oh, here it is.
Oh, just a minute, son.
Well, not Tim Dugan's boy. Well, sure enough. You've got your dad's grin all over your little freckled face. Well, well, well. Yes, I heard some time back that Tim had a boy. Let's see what's on his mind here. So, if things don't break, and I'm gone before you get here, take care of my boy. He's been brought up with horses, and the circus is in his blood. He'll tell you all about it. Well, where is your dad? He's not...
He died last week.
Oh. Huh. Well, I haven't seen him for years. Tim Dugan. Great showman, your dad, and don't you ever forget it. Well, what's your name, son?
Jerry.
Jerry Dugan. And so you want to join the circus, hmm?
I sure do, Mr. Randall.
Well, what can you do, Jerry?
Well, Dad taught me some tumbling before he got sick, and then, of course, I worked a lot with horses.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. And after Mother died, the doctor said Dad couldn't do much hard work, so he and I got a job taking care of some racehorses. Dad said I was a big help, too.
Well, that's swell. Now, look, Jerry, we're folding here tonight, and I've got a lot of things to attend to. You run along home now and get your duds. I'll put you up somehow. You'll probably have to carry water for the horses at first, but, well, we'll see.
I'm sorry, Mr. Randall, but I haven't got any things.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, you see, after we were rooming in a funny little place, and, well, I heard the landlady say she couldn't keep me any longer. You see, Dad already owed her more than a week's rent.
Nice woman, huh?
She said something to a neighbor about an orphan asylum. Well, Rags and me, we lit out that night, and we've just been hiding daytime, waiting for the circus to come to town.
Oh. Well, this dog here isn't Rags by any chance.
Yeah, isn't he a beauty? He's pure Airedale and sheepdog, and Dad said something about a police dog.
Shouldn't wonder if your dad was right.
He's awful smart.
Kind of little for having such big ancestors, don't you think?
Come to think of it, Dad did say something about poodle blood. That's why he's so quick at tricks.
Yes. Well, I'm not so sure I can put up the dog, but come on now, I want you to meet Bumps.
I guess I can't go after all.
Hmm?
Golly,
Well, now what?
Well, you see, me and Rags, well, we sort of been taking care of each other, and I guess we still...
Well, all right, come on. We'll take him. No boy's worth his salt without a dog anyhow. Come along now. We'll catch Bumps while he's making up.
Bumps? Who's Bumps, Mr. Randall?
The greatest clown in the business. Knew your dad, too. I guess he'll be in his wagon.
Oh, so that's where you sleep. In wagons, huh?
No, but some of the wagons are used for dressing rooms. We all sleep on the train.
Oh.
Bumps shares his dressing room with Decker and Lorenz. I guess you won't be in the way there.
Decker and Lorenz? What do they do?
A knife-throwing act, and a good one, too.
Gee, imagine really being with a circus.
Well, here we are, Jerry. Here's Bumps' makeup wagon.
Come in.
Hello, Bumps.
Well, hello, Sam.
I think you can make room for this boy. It's Tim Dugan's boy. Name's Jerry.
Tim Dugan? Oh, I haven't heard of him for years. Put it here. Any son of Tim Dugan ought to be all right. The old acrobat, how is he?
He died, Bumps, last week.
No. This your dog, son?
Yeah. Isn't he a beauty?
Well, he's a friendly little mutt. Does he go with the boys, Sam?
I guess he does.
Isn't that funny, Jerry? I've been wishing for a dog for weeks.
Have you?
I sure have. Looks as if he thinks I might do, too, curling up on my feet like that. He sure made himself at home.
Well, I'm going to be tied up till after the show, Bumps. Keep your eye on Jerry.
Sure will, Sam.
You can go and watch the show, Jerry. I'll tell the man on the gate to let you in. See you later.
Gee, thanks for everything, Mr. Randall.
All right, then.
So you're Tim Dugan's boy, huh? Oh, wait till I finish this
Mind
makeup.
if I watch?
No, of course not.
Gee, that's funny pink stuff. Don't you have any lips at all?
No, just a thin line.
Why do you put all that white stuff around your eyes?
Oh, makes 'em look blank, kind of sad-like.
What's that lumpy nose made out of?
Well, that's putty.
Isn't it uncomfortable? Gee, you look funny. Rags down, it's all right. It's still the same fella. It's still Buff.
Oh, that's it, Rags. Wag the tail, boy. You'll see plenty of makeup before you're much older.
Gee, I don't see how you can do it so fast.
Hey, listen, Jerry, when you put on one makeup for nearly 25 years, you'll be able to do it in a couple of shakes, too.
Rags, stop it.
Oh, hello, Lorenz. Meet Jerry, a friend of mine, and his dog, Rag.
I don't like dogs. Go on, beat it.
Oh, here, wait a minute, Lorenz. Jerry and his dog are going to share the wagon with us.
You think?
The boss thinks.
Now, where did Decker put the knives? How many times do I tell him to put them in the top drawer of this prop box? Here they are, in the bottom drawer. This drawer's not for knives.
Rags, come away from there.
It's a curious little monkey, isn't it?
Too curious. What are you looking at? There's nothing for dogs to see in this drawer. Anybody else either, and that goes for you too, boy. This prop box is my private property. Get out of here, dog.
Rags!
Don't kick him.
Growl at me, eh?
Rags!
Hey, Lorenz, drop that knife, you fool.
Don't throw that knife at my dog.
I'll fix him so he won't growl. Let go of my arm, you.
I won't till you put down that knife.
You little fool.
Don't you strike that boy, Lorenz.
Oh, he bit me. That cur bit me right on the wrist, too. On my tongue.
Oh, now, don't get excited, Lorenz. It's just a little scratch.
Scratch nothing. I fixed that dog.
Oh, there goes the opening number, Jerry. Now, go on now and see the show.
Yeah, I feel...
Bit.
Well, now, you come back here after the show's over, Jerry.
Come on, Rags.
Now, listen, Lorenz, you've got to control that temper of yours. You can't be throwing knives around.
Drat that dog, tearing my wrist. He could have crippled me so I could never throw another knife.
Oh, but he didn't.
Just the same, I'm not going to dress in a place with a dog that will bite me every time I turn around.
Oh, golly, it's time for my act. I got to get on over to the main tent. And don't you worry about the dog, Lorenz. You and he'll be good friends yet.
Friends, nothing. We won't have time to be friends. I'll get rid of that dog before we leave this place if it's the last thing I do.
of the circus. Now for Jerry of the circus.
Well, why don't you go out in front, Jerry?
But, Bumps, I want to watch from here tonight.
Well, you won't see much of the show. The pad room's a pretty busy place.
Pad room?
That's what we call this tent. The performers always wait here until it's time for their act.
Oh, kind of a waiting room, huh?
Yeah, that's it. Then when we have a quick costume change to make, well, we do it right here.
Well, if I'm not in the way.
Oh, you can stay here if you want to, Jerry.
Aw, gee, just to see you all going out and hear the music and be close to the animals and all that.
Dig your toes into the old sawdust, it gets into your blood, doesn't it, Jerry?
How'd you know?
Say, listen, Jerry, what do you think I followed this crazy business for? Money? Say, I could make twice as much in vaudeville or a show in New York and live like decent folks.
Oh, but then you wouldn't have the animals and the traveling.
And the smells and the sleeping every night on a lumpy bed and sometimes no bed at all, huh? Yeah. But, Jerry, I wouldn't give up this life for the grandest bed in the world.
They're coming in now. Ooh, look at them scramble for the front seat.
Yeah, it looks nice and clean now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It won't last long.
Oh, Bumps, I wished I really belonged.
Oh, you think you belong soon enough. Wait till your arms ache from lugging heavy pails of water, and you don't have time to catch the show for weeks, maybe months.
The band's going in.
Yeah. Oh, hello there, Jim.
Hi, Bumps. Looks like a red one tonight.
I guess so. Mr. Randall said the midway was packed. Hey, now watch your dog there, Jerry.
Oh, he's all right. Always stays right by my feet. Gee, I wish someday I could do traps in the band.
Oh, you want to double in brass already, huh? Well, maybe Slim will teach you one of these days.
Oh, who's that beautiful girl?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that little dark-haired girl.
Yeah.
She is pretty, isn't she? Now, that's Patsy.
What does she do?
Why, she's the youngest trapeze artist being starred in the business today. Great future, that little girl.
She's got the prettiest eyes.
Yeah, and she's a mighty nice girl, too. Well, there it goes. The parade will be starting. Now, remember to keep out from underfoot, Jerry.
Sure, I will.
Yeah, I got to do my walk around on the head of the pageant. So long, boys.
So long, Bumps. Aw, gee, Rags, isn't this swell? Rags! Rags! Rags, where are you?
If you're looking for that dog, he followed Bumps into the ring.
No, not into the main dance.
That's where he went.
Oh, gee, what'll I do?
I thought it was a new act Bumps was putting on. The dog crept along behind Bumps just as quiet.
No.
Come on, let's look through this flap.
Oh, gee.
Can you beat that?
A little mutt. Rags, come here. Gee, Bumps is trying to send him back.
Look at him. As soon as Bumps turns around, the dog sneaks back after him on his tummy. Where did he ever learn to sit on a foot and hang on like that? Look. Every time Bumps kicks him off, he does a complete somersault and gets back on Bumps' big shoes again.
He used to do that with Dad all the time.
Here comes Bumps now. Quick, as soon as he pushes the dog through the curtain, grab him.
Okay, I'll get him. Golly, Reg sure likes an audience. Oh, gee, do you think we'll get fired?
Here he comes now. Quick.
Rags, jump!
Say, that's not a dog. It's a kangaroo. Where did he ever learn to jump like that? He flew through that curtain like a shot out of a cannon.
Rags, you little mutt, you. Shh, quiet, boy. Gee, Rags, why'd you do it?
Oh, the cute thing putting his paw over his eyes. He knows he's been naughty.
I should think you would be ashamed. You're a bad, bad dog.
Oh, poor thing. He's begging you to forgive him.
He'd better. One is supposed to get fired, don't you, Rags?
He's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, peeking behind your paw. Think we can't see you, huh?
Where did he learn to hide his head like that?
Oh, that's nothing. He knows a barrel of tricks. Well, come on, Rags. I guess we'd better get back to the tent.
I'll walk along with you for a ways. I don't go on for a while. Kind of like that dog of yours, don't you?
Kinda. Say, he's all I got.
Your name's Jerry, isn't it?
How'd you know?
Oh, Bumps was telling me about you tonight in the mess tent.
Your name's Patsy, isn't it?
How'd you know?
Bumps was telling me about you tonight in the pad room.
You know, your dad was a good friend of my father's. Your name's Dugan, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I've often heard Papa talk about Danny Dugan.
Danny Dugan?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not my dad, but I got an uncle by the name of Danny Dugan.
Oh, he was a big game hunter, wasn't he?
Yeah, one of the best. Say, he got wild animals for pretty near all the circuses.
I know. Father used to talk about what a wonderful marksman he was.
Before Dad died, he was trying to locate Uncle Dan.
Locate?
Yeah. He disappeared about 5 years ago, and nobody's ever heard of him since.
Is that so?
Uh-huh.
Well, maybe my father has. I'll write and see. I know he knew Danny Dugan awfully well.
Gee, you will?
Mm-hmm.
That's swell. You know, Uncle Dan's the only relative I've got. Rags, get away from that entrance. Want to get stepped on by an elephant?
Well, I guess I'd better get back to the pad room. See you later, Jerry.
So long. Come on, Rags. Well, Rags, old scout, think you're going to like this circus life? All right. I'm talking to you. I want to know how you like circus life. Well, that's better. But let me tell you one thing. You won't stay long if you pull any more monkey shines like you did tonight. Go on in, Rags. I'm following you.
Hello there, pup. Well, aren't you a friendly little thing? Where on earth did you come from? Well, a boy, too.
Hello.
Does the boy go with the dog?
He sure does.
You're not looking for a nice new master for this animal, are you?
I should say not.
Well, that's a pity. I'd like to adopt him.
Guess you'd have to adopt me, too, mister.
Well, I might manage the dog, but I don't know as I could smuggle a boy along, too.
Yeah, I am pretty big.
My name's Decker. What's your name, son?
Jerry? Something wrong?
No. Why?
You look so funny.
Did I? Sorry. Jerry. Nice name, Jerry.
The dog's my buddy. His name's Rags.
Rags? Well, Rags, old boy, give me your paw. Good. He's got nice manners, too, Jerry.
Sure, I trained him.
You did? Well, it looks like you did a good job.
Uh-huh. Well, Dad helped me.
Oh, of course. That's what dads are for. You live in this town?
Not anymore.
No?
No, I'm joining the circus.
Oh, you don't say. Does Mr. Randall know about it?
He sure does. He hired me.
Oh, swell. Then I guess I won't have to smuggle you and Rags along after all, huh?
You see, Dad was a friend of Mr. Randall's, and...
Oh, so your dad's coming, too. Well, that's...
No, Dad died just last week.
Oh, I'm sorry, son.
He left me a letter from Mr. Randall, and, well,
That's fine. Well, Jerry, it'll be mighty nice having you along this season.
Yeah.
Sure. And you too, Rags. Yes, sir. I certainly didn't mean to leave you out. Kind of sensitive, that dog, huh, Jerry?
He sure is. Lots more than folks.
Than some folks.
Oh, sure. I didn't mean you.
I wonder why you and I like animals so much, Jerry.
'Cause they like us, I expect.
Of course. They just think we can't do anything wrong.
We're always tops with them, aren't we?
You betcha.
And even after we've had to scold them, they'll come up for a pat or a kind word.
Pretty real kind of love, isn't it, Jerry? But I didn't mean exactly that.
What did you mean?
You know, Jerry, I like even the wildest and most dangerous animals we have in this circus.
Gee, do ya? I'm crazy about wild animals myself.
I don't know why, but I'm never afraid of them. Not a bit.
Me neither.
Have you ever been around wild animals before, Jerry?
Well, no, but still, I just know I wouldn't be afraid.
That's the ticket, son. The minute they know you're afraid, well, you're done for.
Can they tell?
Sure they can.
Gee.
Why, it's like an instinct. Just like we smell things, they sense fear.
Golly, almost like mind reading, isn't it?
Well, I never thought of it like that, but maybe you're right, Jerry.
Decker!
Yes, Lorenz?
Bring those knives and hurry up. Our act goes on next.
Coming. I am absent-minded. Sorry, Sonny. I gotta run along. I'll see you later. Bye, Pup.
Bye.
Wait a minute, Lorenz. I'll walk over to the main tent with you.
Daydreaming again, I suppose. Got the knives?
Here they are.
Who are you talking to?
Oh, that little freckle-faced boy that's sharing the wagon with us. He's a cute kid.
Cute nothing. And as for that nasty dog of his, he snapped at me and bit my wrist this afternoon.
Why, that's funny. He seemed friendly enough to me.
You think? Listen, that cur dog was snooping around my prop box, and I will not take that from anybody. I pushed him off, and he leaped at me, snarling. I never did like dogs, and I'm not going to have a vicious animal hanging around any wagon I dress in.
Oh, but Lorenz...
I got it all fixed. I've just put some poisoned meat under the wagon, so for the first time that dog goes out, he'll smell the meat, eat it up, and go away and die someplace. He'll be Snoopy for the last time. Lorenz one smart fellow, what you think?
Lorenz, you can't do that.
Why not?
Well, that boy worships this dog.
Yeah, well, I don't. And you keep out of this, see?
But
Listen, Decker, I've kept you out of plenty of trouble. If it wasn't for me, you'd spend the rest of your life in jail, and you know it.
I know, Lorenz, and I appreciate it. But after
all,
all,
right. When this dog is found dead, be sure you keep your mouth shut.
Donald Peterson presents the true adventures of Junior G-Men.
The Junior G-Men are on the air, speeding to your homes, ready for action.
Stand by. All Junior G-Men, stand by. Stand by for the thrilling details of the secret of the locked room. all Junior G-men. Calling all Junior G-men. Stand by for report of Junior G-man Bob Stewart concerning...
The secret of the locked room.
Report number 972 in 3 parts is given by Operator Bob Stewart of Wendover. Part 1.
Well, fellows, my dad happens to be a lawyer, and several weeks ago, Mr. Paul Van Cleef, nephew of one of his clients, dropped in to see him at the office. He seemed to be upset about something, and before very long...
It's about my Aunt Martha that I've come, Stuart. I'm terribly worried about her.
What's the matter with her, Paul? Isn't she feeling well?
Physically, she's feeling as well as ever.
Or is that just another way of saying that mentally
She's upset, Stuart. Terribly upset. She's pretty old, you know, and I'm afraid she's beginning to imagine things.
What sort of things?
Well, as you know, we opened up the old country place last spring. There are just the 3 of us living there, Aunt Martha, old Jacob Graves, the butler, and me. Well, all of a sudden I noticed that with the passing of each day, Aunt Martha was getting paler, thinner, more and more nervous.
You questioned her, of course.
Of course. And at first she refused to explain. I kept after her, though, and finally she told me that she was convinced that... Well, this is going to sound ridiculous.
What is it, Van Cleef? What did she tell you?
She believes the house is haunted.
Haunted? You mean to tell me that...
I warned you, Stuart. I told you it would sound ridiculous.
Yes, I know, but, well, this is too ridiculous. Your aunt's old, but she's an intelligent woman, always has been. And I can't... Oh, look here, Van Cleef, whatever made her think such a thing?
I'd rather she told you that herself.
You mean...
I wish you'd arrange to pay us a little visit. I want you to see Aunt Martha yourself. She's really a pitiful sight.
I see. Have you had her examined by a doctor?
No, I haven't. I've been afraid to do anything like that.
Afraid?
Yes, afraid. Afraid of what a doctor might say. Besides, you're her lawyer, Stuart, and I want you to see her and talk to her before anything else is done.
Well, I suppose I could drive up on a Saturday afternoon. It wouldn't be a very long drive. Just about 30 miles, isn't it?
Yes, just about. You could stay for dinner. And then, after you've had a talk with her...
After I've had a talk with her, we'll have a little talk, and we'll see what we can do about getting her over this.
Then you will come?
Yes, I will, this Saturday.
Good. The sooner you see her, the better I'll feel.
You don't suppose the Van Cleefs will mind my coming, do you, Dad?
Oh, I hardly think so. Miss Van Cleef has always been very fond of children. And her nephew, well, he seems to be pretty regular. Not a bit like his father.
His father's dead, isn't he, Dad?
Yep, died several years ago, just a few months before Paul went to live with his aunt.
Wasn't there some trouble between them?
Between whom?
Miss Van Cleef and her brother.
Well, yes, there was some trouble, Bob. Miss Van Cleef and Paul's father never got along very well together.
Why not?
Oh, he was, well, kind of lazy, I guess. That's why he was disinherited by his own father.
Disinherited?
Yep, got off without a penny. And according to what Miss Van Cleef has told me, it was just because he wouldn't work. Henry was the sort of... Yes, Miss Van Cleef's brother, Paul's father. His name was Henry.
Oh, I see. Well, what about him?
Well, he wasn't very ambitious, son. He preferred to stay around the house and play on that violin of his. Then one day, his father
Henry, stop playing that violin and listen to me. That's better.
Well, what do you want?
I want to talk to you about your future.
Again?
Yes, again. But this time we're going to reach a decision.
That'll be nice.
Perhaps you won't think so after you've heard what I've got to say.
Sounds ridiculous.
No, it isn't ridiculous, Henry. It's very serious. You've had every chance, every opportunity I could possibly give you, and perhaps that's what's wrong. Perhaps I've spoiled you.
Perhaps.
Well, if I have spoiled you, Henry, I'm sorry. Sorrier than I can say, and I'm ready to right that wrong.
You mean that
I want you to leave this house, Henry. I don't want you to return until you can prove to me that you're a man able to support yourself.
Now, wait a minute. You can't...
There's no use, Henry. My mind's made up. I've made a new will, cut you off without a penny. Unless you come through the way I'd like to see you, I'm leaving everything to your sister Martha.
And I suppose that tickles her to death.
On the contrary, she begged me not to take this step.
I don't believe it. She hates me.
You know that isn't true, Henry. However, there's nothing more to be said.
You mean I've got to go? You're putting me on my own?
I've got to, Henry. Well, it's for your own good. I'm convinced of that.
But what am I going to do?
That's your problem, Henry. And you've got to face it. You've got a good education. Why, you can play the violin better
All
than
right.
most.
All right. But you'll regret this.
I hope not, Henry.
You will, though. And so will Martha. And so, Bob, Henry packed his things and went away.
What happened then, Dad?
Well, a few months later, his father died, and naturally, the entire estate was given over to Martha Van Cleve, Paul's aunt.
I see. And, Henry, what happened to him? Did he get a job?
No, he didn't. The girl he married had quite a bit of money of her own, and they lived on that. By the time he died, there was hardly anything left, and Paul, having lost both his parents, was taken in by his aunt.
That was kind of nice of her.
Yes, it was. Paul has certainly shown his appreciation in a good many ways. Miss Van Cleve has often told me that she wouldn't know what to do.
Well, it wasn't long before we arrived at the Van Cliff's place in the country, and that night, after we'd finished eating...
Is there anything else, sir?
No, that'll be all, Graves. You can go.
Yes, sir. Very good, sir.
Oh, Graves.
Yes, Mr. Van Cleve?
You can close that door, please. On your way out.
Yes,
There's
sir.
a bit of a draft.
I noticed it myself, sir. You know, Miss Van Cleve, I'm a little worried about you.
Worried? About me?
Yes, you've gotten so thin and your face is so pale. Aren't you feeling well?
I'm all right. Quite all right. It's just that...
Go on, Aunt Martha. Tell him. Perhaps Mr. Stewart will be able to give some sort of explanation.
I'm afraid not.
Well, won't you let me try?
Go on, Aunt Martha. Tell him.
You'll think I'm crazy.
Oh, that's ridiculous. He won't think anything of the kind. Will you, Mr. Stewart?
Of course not.
You're sure?
Quite sure.
All right, then. I will tell you. This house is haunted.
Haunted?
By the ghost of my dead brother, Henry, Paul's father.
But that's impossible. It can't be
You
that...
see, you don't believe me. And I knew you wouldn't. No one does. You all think I'm crazy.
Now, please, Miss Van Cleve, wait a moment. Perhaps if you explained right from the beginning...
You'd only laugh at me behind my back.
No, I wouldn't. I'd try real hard to help you find a logical solution. Now, please, tell me all about it. When did this ghost of your dead brother first appear?
He didn't appear. But I heard his voice. Just as plain as I hear yours. And I heard him playing, too.
Playing?
His violin. It was just a few weeks ago that it started. It was late at night, and I was alone in my room. The door was locked, and suddenly... What's that? That music. Who's playing that music? And that piece, it's so familiar. I've heard it before. A long, long time ago. Why, it seems almost as if... Wait. I remember now. It's the piece Henry used to play. The same old tune. Who's that? Who's that? You call me sister. And your voices. Henry! Henry, where are you?
You turned my father again.
Oh, that's not true, Henry. That's not
He
true.
left you everything and cut me off without a penny.
Oh, it wasn't my fault, Henry. I didn't want him.
You thought you'd gotten away with it, didn't you? That I'd forgotten all about it.
Please don't remind me.
I haven't forgotten, dear sister, and neither shall you.
Believe me, Henry, I
I
didn't.
have come back from the darkness of death, from out of the gloom of the grave, to haunt you forevermore.
Henry, you can't.
Until we meet again, dear sister.
Please. That music again. The same old tune. Gee whiz, that was the beginning. He's come back every night since then, and he always plays the same old tune.
He never appeared to you? You never saw him?
Never.
Are you sure it was your brother's voice? Are you sure?
Sounded like him. Just like him.
Gosh, I wonder
Now,
what...
wait a second, Bob.
Okay, Dad.
Now, Mr. Van Cleve.
Yes.
Have you ever heard that voice, that music?
No. No, I haven't.
And Graves, the butler, what about him? Has he ever heard anything unusual?
Never.
Then you, Miss Van Cleve, are the only one who was...
I knew it. I knew it. You don't believe me. You think I'm hearing things. You think I'm crazy. You think I'm crazy.
And after Miss Van Cleef had gone to her room, Paul Van Cleef, Dad, and I went into the library. We talked the whole thing over, and then...
Oh, it's all so fantastic, so unreal.
Then you think my aunt is imagining things, hearing things that actually can't be heard.
Well, what else can I think? She's the only one in the house who's heard these things, the only one who... I'm sorry, Van Cleef, but if I were you, I think I'd have her examined by a doctor.
I was afraid you'd say something like that.
Well, there's nothing else I can say.
I understand, but you can imagine how I feel. Aunt Martha's been every bit as close to me as my own mother might have been if she'd lived. That's why I can't bring my... What's that?
I don't know, but...
Gee whiz, listen, listen.
Junior G-men, calling all Junior G-men to report at once to points of duty. Calling Junior G-man Bob Stewart to report to Director Donald Peterson at the next meeting on this station to continue report concerning...
The secret of the locked room. Donald Peterson presents the true adventures of Junior G-men.
The Junior G-men are on the air, speeding to your homes, ready for action.
Stand by. All Junior G-men, stand by. Stand by for the thrilling details of the secret of the locked room. Calling all Junior G-men, stand by for report of Junior G-man Bob Stewart concerning...
The secret of the locked room.
Report number 972 in 3 parts is given by Operator Bob Stewart of Wendover, Part 2.
Now, my dad is a lawyer, and has as a client a Miss Martha Van Cleef, who lives about 30 miles from Wendover with her nephew Paul and an old butler named Graves. Well, several weeks ago, Paul Van Cleef came into the office and asked Dad to ride out to see his aunt because he was worried about her. He seemed to think that she was, well, as he put it, imagining things, mainly that the house was haunted. Dad agreed to make the trip and took me along with him. On the way, he told me that Henry Van Cleef, Paul's father, hadn't been very ambitious. He preferred staying around the house and playing his violin to working, and had finally been disinherited because of his laziness. He never got along very well with his sister Martha, and until the day of his death blamed her for his being disowned. Well, after we'd arrived and had eaten dinner, Paul's aunt told her story. She said that every night for the past several weeks she'd heard a violin softly playing one of her brother Henry's favorite tunes, and his voice saying that he'd come back from the dead to haunt her. After she'd finished her story and gone to her room, Paul Van Cleef, Dad, and I went to the library. We talked the whole thing over, and then, all of a sudden...
What's that?
I don't know, but...
Gee whiz, listen! Listen!
It's Aunt Martha. She's screaming for help. Follow me. Aunt Martha! Aunt Martha! She doesn't answer. There isn't a sound. She must be... What's that? Who's there?
It is I, sir, Graves. I heard the scream, sir, and I thought...
Of course you did. We all did.
Yes, sir.
Well, come along. Up these stairs.
Yes, sir.
And hurry.
Yeah, very good, sir.
You coming, Stewart?
I'm right behind you.
Gee whiz, Dad, what do you suppose happened?
Well, I don't know, son, but we'll soon find out.
Now, hold it. Hold it. Wait a second. Aunt Martha! Aunt Martha!
We'd better not waste any time, Van Cleef. We'd better go right into her room.
Yes. Yes, of course. Come along. Follow me.
Shall I come too, sir?
Yes, yes, of course, Grace. Come along.
Yes, sir. Very good, sir.
Now, just a moment. Aunt Martha. Aunt Martha! Are you all right? Are you... Try the door, Graves. Hurry.
Yes, sir. At once, sir. It seems to be unlocked, sir.
Good. Come on in, all of you. We'll see you. Good heavens. What's the matter? What? There, on the floor, lying beside that... But hurry. Give me a hand, someone. Help me lift her up on the bed.
You better not touch her, sir.
Not touch her?
No, sir.
And why not?
But she might be dead, sir.
Dead?
Yes, sir, and the police would want to see that the body had not been disturbed, sir.
The body? Oh, wait a moment. Wait a moment.
Gee whiz, do you suppose she got...
Son, quiet. She's breathing. She's alive. She's not dead. Do you hear, Graves? She's not dead.
My mistake, sir. Sorry, sir.
Get the smelling salt. Get some water, some ice water, and everything else
Yes,
you need.
sir. At once, sir. At once, sir.
Well, soon after Graves returned with the smelling salts and things, Miss Van Cleef came too. Then, as soon as she began to feel a little stronger...
He's right, Paul. He's right.
Who's right, Aunt Martha? Who's right?
Your father, Paul. Everything he said is true.
He spoke to you again? You heard his
Yes,
voice?
Paul. And I'll hear it again and again.
But he's dead, Aunt Martha. You can't
Oh,
possibly...
don't you see? You don't believe me, Paul. You don't believe me.
I want to believe you, Aunt Martha,
But you
I...
can't. And you never will. Because you'll never hear his voice. He'll never speak to anyone but me.
How do you know, Miss Van Cleef? How can you be sure?
He told me so tonight. Just before his picture fell from the wall.
His picture? That large one in the heavy frame?
Yes, that large one. It overturned the chair.
That must have been the crash we heard.
Yes, that's right.
Is that why you screamed, Miss Van Cleef?
Yes. Yes, that's why I screamed. I was so frightened, so afraid. But I mustn't admit that, must I? I mustn't show my fear. If I do, you'll think I'm crazy. You'll think I'm crazy.
Well, not at all, Miss Van Cleef, but, well,
Oh, I can see it in your eyes. You think I'm losing my mind. Who knows? Maybe you're right. It's all so real, though. I can hear him so clearly, just as if he were here in this very room. And that tune he plays on the violin, it's always the same, always the same. Tonight again, I just turned out the lights and was sitting in that chair, there by the window. The moon seemed so bright. Same old tune, same old tune. Oh, Henry, why are you doing this to me? Why and how long is it to go on? How long? Am I never again to know a moment's peace, a night of... Oh, the laugh again. His laugh. Yes, Henry, we meet again. Oh, Henry, wherever you are, I beg you.
You've lost your mind, dear sister.
Oh, Henry, if only you'd listen.
You're beginning to doubt yourself, are you not, dear sister? You're beginning to doubt yourself.
Yes, I am. I'm beginning to...
You think it's strange, do you not, that no one else has ever heard my voice? That to you alone that privilege has been given.
Yes, I think it's...
Well, rest assured, dear sister, no one else shall ever hear me. Only you. Only you.
Oh, please, Henry, if only you come...
Farewell, dear sister, until we meet again. Until we meet again.
Wait. The music again. The same old tune again and again. The same old tune.
And you still haven't seen him? He's never appeared to you?
Never.
Gee whiz. It sure is funny, all right.
Yes, very. Look here, Van Cleve.
Yes, Mr. Stewart.
In view of what's happened, I'd like to spend the night here. That is, of course, if you can put us up.
Why, that'll be a pleasure, Mr. Stewart. And you have no idea what a relief it'll be to have someone else in the house. Graves.
Yes, sir?
You'll prepare the guest room in the west wing.
Very good, sir. Immediately, sir.
And now, if you don't mind, I'd like to call my wife.
Why, of course.
I'll tell her that Bob and I are going to spend the night here. And that she doesn't need to expect us home until sometime tomorrow afternoon.
And later that night, after Dad and I had gone to the room that had been prepared for us, we got to talking about...
I can't understand it. I just can't understand it.
Neither can I, Dad. There just doesn't seem to be any reason for it.
That's just it. There isn't any reason.
You know, Dad, I wonder if that voice would follow Miss Van Cleef wherever she went.
What do you mean?
Well, suppose we were to swap rooms with her, just for tonight.
You mean?
If only we three, Miss Van Cleef, you and I, knew about the switch, and if the voice followed her, then we'd know for sure that she's either hearing things or that she's, well...
Or that she's mentally unbalanced.
Yeah, that's it.
Then you believe that there's something about that room that's responsible for...
I don't know what to believe, Dad, but, well, gee whiz, it's a possibility.
Yes, it is. A good possibility.
Then you'll try it? You'll swap rooms with Miss Van Cleef and...
Well, she'll agree, son. It's up to her. Now, here's what we'll do. As soon as we're sure that everyone's gone to bed...
A little later, after everything was all quiet, Dad and I slipped down the corridor to Miss Van Cleef's room. After we'd explained the whole plan...
It wouldn't do any good. Not a bit.
But you can't be sure of that, Miss Van Cleef.
I am sure. Henry's voice would follow me. It will always follow me right to my grave. I can't escape it.
No, of course not. Not if you won't try.
I will try. Anything. Anything within reason.
Well, then agree to this switch. You go to your room and let us stay here.
You're not afraid?
Afraid of what? The voice of a ghost? No, Miss Van Cleef, we're not afraid. And if you let us stay here, we may be able to prove that there's no reason for you to be afraid.
Well, very well. I'll do as you say.
Now look, you'll have to be very careful. The whole success of this plan depends on your not being seen by anyone. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Good. You see, Miss Van Cleef, if that voice follows you to another room, if it speaks to you there, then we'll be sure that, well, that it's really the voice of a ghost.
Or that I am insane. Yes, Mr. Stewart, I understand.
Well, the switch was made without a bit of trouble. Miss Van Cleef went to our room, and we stayed there in hers. Later, as Dad and I were talking...
Well, how about it, son? You feel like turning in?
Well, I don't know, Dad. I'm afraid I don't feel very much for sleeping.
I see. You're not afraid.
Oh, no, Dad, not a bit. It's just that, well, I'm just not sleepy, that's all.
I see. Well, I'm not very sleepy myself. We'll just... Oh, doggone.
What's the matter, Dad?
I just happened to remember. I left my pipe down there in the library. I can do without smoking it, of course, but I'd hate to have anything happen to it. It's the one your mother gave me last Christmas.
Want me to go down and get it for you?
No, son. I'd rather get it myself. That is, if you're not afraid to stay up here alone. How about it?
I'm not afraid. You better be careful, though. I mean that you're not seen leaving or entering this room. That'd spoil everything.
Yes, it would, wouldn't it? Well, I'll be careful, and I won't be gone long either. I'll be back just as soon as I can possibly.
And Dad hadn't been out of the room more than 3 minutes, when all of a sudden... Gee whiz, music. Where's it coming from? Who's playing it? It's creepy, too. Kinda gives you the chills. Just the way Miss Van Cleef described it. Gosh, I wish Dad were here. It stopped. Gee whiz, that laugh. I'm scared.
We meet again.
Holy cats, that voice. It's talking to Miss Van Cleef, and she's not here. She's not here.
Calling all Junior G-men. Calling all Junior G-men to report at once to points of duty. Calling Junior G-man Bob Stewart to report to Director Donald Peterson at the next meeting on this station to continue report concerning...
The secret of the locked room. Donald Peterson presents the true adventures of Junior G-men.
Junior G-men are on the air, speeding to your homes, ready for action.
Stand by. All Junior G-men stand by. Stand by for the thrilling details of the secret of the locked room. Calling all Junior G-men. Stand by for report of Junior G-man Bob Stewart concerning...
The secret of the locked room.
Conclusion of report number 972 is given by Operator Bob Stewart of Wendover.
Well, my dad's a lawyer. And some time ago, he and I visited one of his clients, a Miss Martha Van Cleef. She insisted that the house in which she lived with her nephew Paul and an old butler named Graves was haunted by the ghost of her dead brother Henry, Paul's father. Miss Van Cleef told us that she had heard a violin softly playing a tune that her brother Henry had always played while he was alive, and his voice saying that he'd come back from the grave to haunt her. Dad and I decided to spend the night there, and we hit on the idea of changing places with Miss Van Cleef to find out whether or not the voice would follow her. After the switch was made, Dad went down to the library to get his pipe, and while he was gone... Gee whiz, music. Where's it coming from? Who's playing it? It's creepy, too. Kind of gives you the chills, just the way Miss Van Cleef described it. Gosh, I wish Dad were here. It stopped. Gee whiz, that laugh. I'm scared.
We meet again, dear sister. We meet again.
Holy cats, that voice. It's talking to Miss Van Cleef, and she's not here. She's not here.
I think you've lost your mind, dear sister. Amusing, isn't it? Very amusing.
Then she wasn't imagining things. She hasn't lost her mind.
You're beginning to doubt yourself, are you not, dear sister? You're beginning to doubt yourself.
She isn't crazy. She really heard a voice.
You think it's strange, do you not? That no one else has never heard my voice. That to you alone has that privilege been given.
Voice of a ghost. Gosh, it can't be. It just
well,
can't.
Rest assured, dear sister, no one else shall ever hear my voice. Only you. Only you.
It seems to be coming from over there.
Farewell, dear sister. Until we meet again. Until we meet again.
It's all a trick. That's what it is. Deliberate trick to drive Miss Van Cleef crazy. Who's behind it? Who's behind it? Well, a couple of minutes later, Dad came back to the room. And after I told him what had happened...
Do you believe that someone is deliberately trying to drive Miss Van Cleef crazy? But who? Miss Van Cleef hasn't another relative in the world but her nephew Paul.
Paul?
If she were proven insane, incompetent, he'd be given absolute control over the entire estate. Oh, but it's too ridiculous. It can't be.
How about the Graves, the butler?
Oh, but you told me that it didn't sound like Graves' voice. In fact, you said you didn't recognize it at all. That means there must be someone else in this house. Someone we haven't seen.
Yes, but suppose that voice doesn't belong to anyone in this house. Supposing it isn't a voice at all.
You mean that?
Suppose it isn't a living voice.
Good heavens, son, you don't mean...
Remember, Dad, I told you that the voice seemed kind of mechanical, and that it seemed to be coming from someplace behind the wall, over there where the picture of Miss Van Cleef's brother used to hang?
That's just it. There's probably someone in the next room.
There can't be, Dad. There couldn't have been. If there had been someone in that room, he'd have overheard us talking. Would have known about the switch. In that case, I would have never heard the voice. he wouldn't have spoken, not to me, Dad.
Well, no, I suppose not, and yet But look here, you seem to have something in mind, some kind of a solution. Let's have it.
Well, just suppose there's some kind of a record, a phonograph record, one that's been specially prepared for exactly this purpose. And there'd be more than one, Dad. There'd be several. One for each time the voice was heard by Miss Van Cleef.
Yes, that's true, of course. There'd have to be a phonograph, too, and someone to operate it. You haven't forgotten that, have you?
No, Dad, I haven't. Now, if I'm right about these records, there's probably a phonograph set up against the wall of the next room, and I wouldn't be surprised if it were located almost directly back of that spot where the picture used to hang.
Now, that wouldn't surprise me either, Bob. And it would explain the picture's falling. The sound vibration would gradually loosen the nail or whatever held that picture up, and then finally... but that's beside the point. Go on, son. What about the operation of this phonograph? How do you explain that?
Well, as long as we're figuring that there couldn't have been anyone in that room, we've got to take it for granted that the machine, if there is one, is operated by a switch, an electric switch.
An electric switch that would start the machine, stop it automatically, and then move the arm back to its original position.
Yeah.
Yes, it could be done. In fact, I've seen it done. There are machines just like that.
Sure there are. But the switch did. If only we knew where it was.
The switch. But of course, now I understand.
What did? What?
When I went down to the library a while ago, I fumbled around in the dark trying to find the light switch. I found a little button, pushed it, but nothing happened. That is, the lights didn't go on. At the moment, I thought it might be a means of ringing for the butler, but when he didn't show up, I just forgot all about it.
I'll bet it's the switch we're after, Dad. I'll just bet it is. And it points the finger right at Paul Van Cleef. He could have thrown that switch while we were talking to him in there in the library, just before his Aunt Martha screamed.
Yes, I know, and yet it seems almost unbelievable. But look here. We've got to test this theory of ours just to make sure it's foolproof. Now, here's what we'll do. I'll sneak down the hall.
Well, Dad left me there in that room, and then a few minutes later returned with Miss Martha Van Cleef. After he'd closed the door...
Now, don't be frightened, Miss Van Cleef. Everything's going to be all right in a little while.
I hope so. I hope so.
Tell me, that room next to this one, what's it used for?
Why, nothing. Nothing at all. It's just a guest room.
Then why is it locked?
Locked? But I didn't know it was locked.
Well, it is. I tried the knob on my way down the hall, and it's locked all right. I suppose you have the key.
Why, no, I haven't. I gave the only duplicate to Graves when he lost his.
I see. I suppose Graves knew that yours was the only duplicate key to that room, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He promised to have another made, though, and, well, I suppose it must have slipped his mind.
Yes, I suppose it must have. Well, at any rate, Graves has the only key to that room in existence. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Gee whiz, Dad. Then Graves must be the one...
Quiet, son, quiet.
What's the matter, Mr. Stewart? What's the matter?
Nothing, Miss Van Cleef, nothing at all. We've merely been trying to solve this mystery, and I think we've succeeded. Now, I want you to stay here in this room with Bob. I have an idea you're going to hear that voice again.
Henry's voice?
Well, a voice that sounds like Henry's. Now, you mustn't be frightened either, because there's no longer any reason for you to be.
I don't understand. Won't you explain?
When I come back, after we found out whether or not our little experiment was successful.
Well, Dad left us and went to the library, pushed the little button. But wait a second. Here's what happened upstairs. Miss Van Cleef and I were just sitting there waiting for something to happen. And then, all of a sudden...
Listen.
Music. It worked.
You hear it, then? The music, you hear it?
Yes, I do.
Oh, then I'm not imagining things. I'm not imagining...
No, you're not imagining things. Not by a long shot. Dad pushed the little switch down there in the library and... But wait, it stopped. Now we'll hear the... There it is, the laugh, the same laugh.
We meet again, dear sister. We meet again.
Those words. The very same words I heard earlier this evening.
You've lost your mind, dear sister.
The record hasn't been changed. It hasn't been
Amusing,
changed.
isn't it? Very amusing.
And when Dad returned, he explained the whole thing to Miss Van Cleef and insisted that she allow him to send for the police immediately. It was just about half an hour later that 2 detectives arrived, and naturally their arrival awakened Graves and Paul Van Cleef. In the meantime, Dad told the whole story to the detectives, and they immediately checked on it. Then, after Graves and Miss Van Cleef's nephew came to her room, one of the detectives went down to the library, pushed the button, and started the record playing. As it neared its finish...
Interesting. Very interesting.
Quiet, Graves, quiet. Now, Graves, now is the time to talk.
Talk, sir? But what shall I say, sir?
Well, suppose you use your own judgment.
Very good, sir. I should like to say, sir, that this has been most entertaining.
And that's all?
That's quite all, sir.
I see. And you, Van Cleef, is there anything you'd like to say?
You seem to have discovered something.
Yeah, that's right. With a little time, we can discover a great deal more. However, you can save us that time, Van Cleef. You can confess.
So, you want me to...
I beg pardon, sir. But if I were you, sir, I wouldn't say anything that I'd have cause to regret at a later time.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No, sir.
Well, Graves, you're going to do a little regretting on your own, because I'm going to tell everything I know. And as you know, I know plenty.
If you forgive me, sir, it's my opinion that you're a bit of an idiot, sir.
You know, Graves, I believe you're right. I am an idiot. And I proved it when I fell for that line you handed me.
I, sir? A line, sir?
Yes, a line. And like the poor fish I am, I didn't see the hook on the end of it.
Let's have it, Van Cleef. What's it all about?
Well, to begin with, ever since I came to stay with Aunt Martha, Graves has been nagging me, always telling me that my father was cheated out of his rightful inheritance and that I, as his son, should control at least half of this estate. The more I listened to him, the more insistent he became, and he finally outlined this plan.
This plan to drive your aunt insane?
Yes. Well,
Paul, how could you? I planned to leave everything to you.
I know, Aunt Martha, I know, but I couldn't wait that long. Graves wouldn't let me. Well, we went ahead. Had those records made by an actor who didn't know what they were to be used for. He thought it was some kind of a joke. Well, it was a joke, and the laugh's on me.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Go on, Van Cleef. You had these records made, and then...
Well, we rigged up the phonograph and that switch down there in the library. It looked like a perfect setup. And at the time, I couldn't see how we could possibly fail in any way.
And in order to punish Graves, who was really the more guilty of the two, Miss Van Cleef was forced to prosecute her nephew. However, he got off with a fairly light sentence. And although he'll be out of the prison in a few weeks, he'll never be really free, because he'll always have a guilty conscience.
Buck Rogers in the 25th century.
Buck Rogers is on the air, brought to you by the makers of Popsicle, Fudgicle, and Creamsicle, those delicious frozen confections on a stick. And now a message from the famous winner of the Typical American Boy contest, Popsicle Pete.
Hello, everyone. Say, I wish you were here at the studio. What a room full of gifts you'd see. All for you. Roller skates, table tennis, cameras, fishing tackle, jewelry, dolls. Gosh, hundreds of things. You know how to get them? Just eat Popsicle, Creamsicle, and Fudgicle. And save the bags.
Well, could anything be easier? Enjoy a great big delicious Popsicle, Fudgicle, or Creamsicle every day and get wonderful gifts for the bags. A mother knows these frozen confections on a handy stick are pure and good for you. Made fresh every day. And boy, do they taste good. Refreshing. Nourishing. So big and only 5 cents.
Don't forget, save bags every day for swell gifts. Get that wonderful free Popsicle gift list in your ice cream store. Tells you how many bags you need for the gifts you want. And it's got a free coupon worth 10 bags.
And now for another thrilling episode of Buck Rogers. Back in 1919, you know, Buck was in the lower workings of an abandoned mine near the city of Pittsburgh when suddenly The walls caved in and a peculiar gas caused him to be held in a state of suspended animation for 500 years. Finding himself in the strange and exciting world of the 25th century, Buck quickly adapted himself to the use of rocket-powered spacecraft and other marvelous scientific developments that would seem almost impossible in our present day. With Wilma Deering and Dr. Hewer, Buck has visited Mars, Venus, and Jupiter, Saturn, and even far-off Pluto. His life has been just one amazing adventure after another. Now, in our last episode, you remember, Buck, Wilma, and Dr. Hewer were discussing a new instrument for use on a rocket plane when suddenly... But let's join them. They're in Dr. Hewer's laboratory. Okay? Then here we go, 500 years into the future.
Yes, Wilma? If this new instrument does what I feel sure it will, there'll be practically no limit to the speed a rocket ship can attain immediately upon taking off.
Good night. Imagine getting into the control cabin, opening the power lever, and going a couple of 1,000 miles an hour just like that.
Well, when can we test it out, Dr. Hewer? Have you already got it installed on a rocket ship?
No, Buck. As a matter of fact, I don't even have it yet.
Huh?
One's been made up all right. The one we'll use for the test, but it isn't right here yet.
I don't understand, Doctor.
Oh, yes, sir. Can't we get it here? The sooner we can start trying it out, the sooner we can break the monotony of just sitting around here doing nothing.
Wait, Buck. Listen.
Yes, Doctor, I hear it too.
Oh, yeah.
Hear it?
Yes, sir, but what under the sun is it?
Look here, out of the window.
Well, good heavens, Wilma! It's coming right down this way! Wilma!
Oh! Good night.
Hey, come on, folks. Whoever's in that rocket ship that crashed out there is going to need help.
Yes, Buck.
Come on.
Hang with you, Buck. It looked to me as though it deliberately cracked up right outside this laboratory.
Wilma's right, Buck. It certainly didn't look like a ship out of control.
Well, you can hardly call it an ordinary landing, and we'd better give whoever's in it... Hey, look, it's a Martian ship.
Right. See, the metal door on the side of it is open.
Wait, it's all right.
Wait?
All right, Doctor. Well, the people in that ship must be...
Wait, Buck. And listen.
You know, it's just exactly like I told you to be. Here we are, safe and sound, and right on time.
What, Barney?
Oh, well, I'll be doggone.
I still don't think we needed to land that fast, Mr. Barney.
And Willie's with him.
You see? He made me shin my knee against the control board.
Well, what difference does that make? We had to get down here into a hurry, didn't we?
My knee hurts, too.
And the only way was to land in a hurry so's we... Huh?
See?
Say, you did kind of get scratched up there now, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Here, Willie, you just put your arm around my shoulder and I'll carry you right straight over to a hospital, yeah.
Oh, it didn't hurt that bad, Mr. Barney.
What do you mean it ain't hurt that bad?
Only I just thought maybe you didn't care.
Oh.
And anyhow, what about that important package you have on board here for Dr. Hewer?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes, sir, we better get that gyro thing in Dr. Hewer's laboratory right this minute.
We'll take care of it, Barney.
Huh? Oh, hello, Dr. Hewer.
Hello. Hello, Willie. How are you?
Say, Doctor, how'd you know we'd got here?
Oh, don't worry, Barney. After that landing, the whole city knows you're here.
I didn't say so. It's a wonder you didn't break your neck.
Well, Dr. Hewer was in a hurry to get a hold of that gyro thing we brought down from Mars, so I figured the quicker we landed with it, the better.
Well, I hope it's all right after that landing.
Oh, sure it is, Doctor. I got it stowed away in the shock-insulated storage cabin.
Fine. Then my suggestion is that we fly right over to the spaceport. We'll have the gyrocosmic relativator installed on a ship I have waiting for it over there.
Oh, good. Then we can go right ahead and test it out.
Yes.
Well, Willie here needs to expose his bruised knee to a healing ray for a few minutes.
Oh, that's all right, Lieutenant Wilmer.
No, sir, now, Willie. You do what Lieutenant Wilmer says to do.
Doesn't hurt, though. Much.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Barney, my little rocket roadster is parked out back of the laboratory building.
Yeah?
So you and Willie hop into that and go over to the hospital where they'll take care of that bruised knee. And meanwhile, we three will take this ship of yours over to the spaceport and install the gyrocosmic relativator on whatever sort of craft Dr. Hewer has waiting for it over there.
Okay, Captain Rogers, we'll do it. Come on, Willie.
Yes, sir. See you later.
All right, Willie.
Wait a minute. Listen, Doctor.
Yes, Barney?
Are you three going to try out that gyro thing, or are you going to have somebody else do it for you?
Why, we'll do it, of course.
Well, are you sure it won't be too dangerous, Doctor?
Dangerous? Oh, oh no.
Oh, don't you laugh, Doctor. If it'll do all the things you told me by radio it would do, why, it sounds to me like it might be dangerous or stuff.
No, not at all. And if you hustle over to the hospital with Willie, you can probably get out of the spaceport before we take off with it.
Yeah, okay, Doctor. You're okay. Come on, Willie.
And come on, Wilma, Doctor. Let's get aboard here and over to the spaceport.
Yes, Buck. Now is the time to test this gyrocosmic relativator here. I'm almost as excited about it as you appear to be.
All set, Buck. Close the metal door.
Right. Want to take the controls, Doctor?
All right, Buck. Here we go.
Never know this ship has been through that crash landing, would you?
Well, I don't know whether you've noticed it, Buck, but all these Martian ships are made very solidly.
Yeah, that's true. They're not very fast, but tough.
Well, isn't that perfectly natural? They're all made under Barney's supervision.
Right. But while you're steering us over to the spaceport, Doctor, I'm going to unpack the gyrocosmic relativator back here. Then we can begin installation on the other ship just as soon as we get there.
That's a good idea, Buck. And I'll radio ahead to Joe Martin there at the spaceport to have men and tools ready in order to save time. Calling Joe Martin at spaceport. This is Dr. Hewer calling Joe Martin at spaceport. Calling Joe Martin. That's it, Joe. Have your men fade the bank of photoelectric cells into that aperture in the main bank of rocket tubes.
Yes, sir, Dr. Hewer. All right, Al. Swing it right over here.
That's it. And as soon as you're through with the installation, have all this machinery cleared away.
Yes, sir. Should be all set for the tryout in a couple of minutes now, shouldn't it, Doctor?
Yes, Doc. Just as soon as they finish bolting down that side plate.
Oh, good. I'm anxious to get started with this experimental flight.
Wonder if Barney and Willie will get here before we take off. Barney apparently was quite interested in the gyrocosmic relativator.
Now, how about this power line, Doctor?
Oh, plug it into outlet number 1 there, Buck.
All right, sir. There it is, Doctor. It's all right. Uh-oh.
What's the matter, Buck?
Oh, nothing. I just scratched the back of my hand a bit, that's all. All ready for the takeoff now, Doctor.
Fine, Joe. Tell your men to clear away and we'll go right up.
Yes, sir. They're on their way back to the main hangar now.
Good. Well, Buck, Wilma.
Say, look here, Buck. You've taken a really big piece of skin off the back of your hand here.
Oh, forget it. Let's get up in the air in this rocket ship.
Sir, you're as bad as Willie was. Joe,
Yes, Lieutenant?
don't you have a healing ray in your office?
Oh, sure, Lieutenant. Oh, forget it, Wilma. It'll be all right.
No, sir. Come on over to the office with me and we'll put your hand under the healing ray for a minute.
Well, but... Oh, okay.
I'll go along with you so I can report to Central Radio Bureau and tell them where we are.
It's this way, right over here. It's silly to worry about a little scratch like this, Wilma. I'm anxious to get aloft with that gyrocosmic relativator on the ship. Right in here, Lieutenant Wilma. The healing ray's right there in the corner.
Here, Buck. Now put your hand under it while I turn it on.
Oh, okay.
There now. And don't turn it off until your hand is completely healed.
No, let's see. Where's this radio unit of yours, Joe?
Right here, Doctor. Oh, excuse me, sir. There's a call coming in on it now. Central Spaceport. Joe Martin speaking.
Central Radio Bureau. Have you seen anything of Dr. Hewer? We've been trying to locate him all over the city.
Why, sure. He's right here. Here, Doctor. This call's for you.
Oh, thank you. This is Dr. Hewer?
Urgent message for you, Dr. Hewer. The captain of the rocket police.
Yes?
Says that one of the air guards has just discovered that your laboratory has been forcibly entered and completely ransacked.
What? Why, I just left there a few minutes ago.
Well, it was only discovered a couple of minutes ago. Shall I tell the captain you'll be right over?
No. As long as the rocket police are already there, no more damage will be done. I'm engaged in a very important experiment here that I can't leave at the moment. But I'll go back to my laboratory just as soon as I've finished with it. Meantime, they'll know what measures need to be taken and can proceed accordingly.
Yes, sir.
Signing off.
Signing off.
Well, can't say that I like that.
Say, maybe we'd better postpone this test, Doctor.
No, Buck. It's the most important thing we have at hand right now, and we'd better go through with it.
Well, whatever you say.
But I wonder who could have done it. Surely Black Barney wouldn't have.
No. Powerful old Barney might absent-mindedly pull a locked door off its hinges to get in, but Certainly he wouldn't be involved in ransacking my laboratory.
And anyhow, he's probably out at the test ship wondering why we don't get started.
Yes. Well then, come along, let's...
Better wait a second, Doctor. It may be another call for you. Central Fit. Oh, yes, sir. It's for you, Captain Rogers. Okay, Joe, thanks. Buck Rogers speaking.
Central Radio, Captain. Order from the office of the President. The entire rocket police fleet has been placed at your disposal.
What?
All regular patrol ships are standing by awaiting your orders. You have full authority to proceed along any lines you may see fit.
Now, wait a minute. Is this because of the trouble at Dr. Hewer's laboratory?
No, sir. Something happened to one of the guards at the municipal prison. The automatic alarm system was completely wrecked, and the guard found lying in a storage room under the effects of a paralysis ray.
Great Scott, man. Who did it?
Killer Kane and Ardela. And they've escaped.
Doctor. Wilma, did you hear that?
Yes, Buck.
The worst criminals the solar system has ever known.
How could Kane and Ardela have escaped?
I don't know, but one thing's sure. We're going to have to call off this test flight.
Not at all, Buck.
Huh?
Now we must go ahead with it.
But, Doctor...
It takes far more than the ordinary rocket ship to track down that pair. And that's just exactly what our gyrocosmic relativator will provide.
Dr. Hugh is right, Buck.
Okay, then. Come on, let's go.
There's the ship. Just waiting for us, and we can take off in it immediately.
Well, come on.
No, look!
There it goes! There goes our ship!
Well, somebody beat them to it. If you ask me, there's trouble ahead for our friends. Fellas and girls, is each day bringing you closer to those wonderful presents Popsicle Pete picked out for you? Are you saving bags for books and cameras, musical instruments, fishing tackle, dolls, jewelry, all the exciting things you want? Save bags every day from Popsicle, Fudgicle, and Creamsicle. You'll soon have just the gifts you want.
Say, kid, did you ever try a creamsicle? Gee, it's wonderful. A great big chunk of delicious ice cream on a stick, coated with thick, chewy butterscotch.
Or you can get Creamsicle coated with chocolate fudge or fresh fruit flavors. They're wholesome, too, full of the kind of nourishment we all need. And only a nickel for a great big creamsicle on a handy stick.
And don't forget to save the bags for those swell gifts.
Buck Rogers in the 25th century.
Buck Rogers is on the air, brought to you by the makers of Popsicle, Fudgicle, and Creamsicle, those delicious frozen confections on a stick. Now here's a message from the famous winner of the typical American boy contest, Popsicle Pete.
Hey, kid, you should see the camera I picked out for you as a Popsicle present. A real movie camera. You can get it free. Just save bags from Popsicle, Fudgicle, or Creamsicle. You get lots of swell gifts for those bags. Hundreds of them. Flashlight, Buck Rogers rocket ship, tennis racket, wristwatch, beautiful dolls, swell jewelry. Just save bags from Popsicle, Creamsicle, or Fudgicle on a handy stick.
And when you're warm, isn't it great to have a big, cold, delicious Popsicle, Creamsicle, or Fudgicle? Boy, are they good, and do they last. They're good for you, too. Pure and nourishing. Wrapped in those valuable gift bags. The biggest nickel's worth you can get.
Get the free Popsicle gift list in your ice cream store. It's got a free coupon on it worth 10 bags.
And now for more of the thrilling adventures of Buck Rogers in the 25th century. In our last episode, you remember, Buck, Wilma, and Dr. Hewer were at the Central Spaceport, getting ready to make a test flight in a rocket ship equipped with a new invention called the gyrocosmic relativator. But before they could board it, the huge craft took off right before their very noses. And as we pick up our story tonight, we find them there at the spaceport, standing where the ship was parked and trying to figure out who or what made it take off. Here we go, 500 years into the future.
Well, there goes our rocket ship.
I don't understand.
Buck, who could have taken it?
You and me, Wilma.
And the new gyrocosmic relativator's on board.
Right. That's why it was able to take off so quickly.
Then whoever took it must have known about that relativator.
You're probably right, Wilma. But Black Barney's the only person I've told anything.
Dr. Hewer.
Yes, Buck?
That message that came in from Central Radio Bureau just before we came outside here to get into that ship.
Killer Kane and Ardela.
Oh, sure. If they just escaped from the municipal prison, the one thing they need most is a rocket ship. And those two wouldn't waste any time getting it.
You're right.
Yes, sir. They probably came right out here to the spaceport.